888-723-23.
LA filing number 16-7970.
WNXX, Jackson, KNXX, Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers, LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Good morning, everybody. It is 7 a.m. on Tuesday, December 12th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect clear skies with a high of 61. Coming up on OTB, we have a new edition of OTB Mailbag at 8:15, so get your questions in the chat. And Nick Underhill of New Orleans.football joins the show at 9 a.m. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 104.5 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number one of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert. Yeah! Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? Hope everyone's having a wonderful Tuesday morning. I mean, how about it, boys? It's December. Christmas in the air. It's very cold outside. These are things that we love to see. So, unfortunately, we got a text from our good friend, Jake Hester, and he is under the weather, which this is generally where we go ahead and do our suspension jokes. Ha, ha, ha. Jake suspended, blah, blah, blah. But no, he's not feeling well, so he's going to miss today's show. So myself, Mario, and Taylor will be with you today. And I feel we got a pretty good one here, okay? I want to open talking. It's kind of a mishmash of NFL draft, quarterbacks, who should go, bowl games, a little bit of everything. A bit later on, I do want to talk about the Monday Night Football games last night. I got a lot of recruiting thoughts on this 2024 class and what it means for LSU. Like Mario said, we got our OTB mailbag. Pelicans get another big win. How about this? I saw this tweet this morning. It might have come from Ola. Oh, I'll look at my Twitter and double check. But the Pelicans now, Mario, what is it? 11 wins over teams that are above 500?
Yes.
The most in the NBA.
Yeah, I think they're 8-3 in their last 11 games too. Lakers game was ugly, but for the most part, they've been playing pretty good ball the last few weeks.
But again, that those wins over teams above 500, that is something I am not used to seeing in the Pelicans' tenure. Generally, they would kind of, I feel like these last few years, not to say there aren't disappointing losses or pleasant wins along the way. Like there's always going to be both. But I do feel like generally they would kind of do okay against the middle tier, lower tier, and then struggle into top tier. It seems like now maybe is the opposite. So the Pelicans heating up. We'll get to that a bit later on as well in the show. So, look, it's going to be a fun 3 hours. So come hang out with us and, do some sports talk, some morning sports radio. Boys, how we feeling this morning?
Oh, feeling good, man. Good vibes over here. Like you said, fun night of sports yesterday between the Pelicans getting the win and DeVito doing his thing with the Giants.
Yeah, how about old Tommy DeVito? What about you, Taylor?
In a good mood overall. Gonna fight Jeff Bezos if these guys from Amazon don't deliver my package. But other than that, doing pretty good.
I'm not even gonna ask for a follow-up because I don't care. I don't care. I don't think Jeff cares either, unfortunately. Good luck finding him. What would be your plan to fight Jeff Bezos?
I don't know. I mean, he's older than me. I don't know how good a shape he's in.
I don't mean like physically, even though, I don't know. There was that picture circulating a few years ago where he clearly got on the tee and was getting pretty jacked.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know what he looks like currently.
But, no, like, I'm saying, like, how do you penetrate the perimeter of security and everything else that Jeff Bezos probably travels around with 24/7. Like, I imagine trying to interact with him is harder than trying to interact with a lot of like state leaders. And I don't mean like U.S. state, I mean like country.
This is an easy one. You get the perfect disguise. Amazon delivery driver.
You think?
I go drop off a package at Jeff's house from Amazon. He's gonna let me in.
Yeah. I'm sure you're gonna be like, yeah, I got to see Jeff directly. And they're not gonna make you leave it at the door.
He's got to sign for
They're
it.
not gonna make
it's a package he has to sign for.
Okay.
Bezos seems like one of those don't look me in the eye guys, like your boy with the Rams and Mike Myers, who's supposedly really hard to work with.
Who's Mike Myers?
Mike Myers, the actor.
Oh,
Love
like
Guru,
Mike Myers, the
Shrek.
actor. Mike
Yeah.
Myers.
Yeah.
The other Michael Myers probably be hard to work with as well. So I see your
On account
confusion.
of all the stabbing.
Yeah.
For sure.
Also, Jeff Bezos kind of looks like Howie Mandel.
Yeah,
I've always
well,
thought
yes,
that.
in that he's a bald white guy. I agree. But I could see that, Mario, in terms of the don't look me in the eye. I don't know, man. I think that when you reach that level of success and wealth, you probably feel, I always think about this, right? Like, let's say that you were an ancient Egyptian pharaoh or a emperor or something, or a king or blah, 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 whatever. Like, you would, especially pharaoh in this instance, you would feel as if you were a god, right? You would feel separate from normal human beings because you've literally been told your entire life that you are a god, and every single whim that you have is fulfilled immediately under the threat of death. Like, you basically can warp reality. So, like, functionally, scientifically, you may be human. You may still have DNA that we all have. I could slit your throat and you would die. But functionally, you are a god because people believe you are and they treat you as such. I imagine when you reach Jeff Bezos' level of success that it's not too dissimilar, where basically every whim you have is granted. Everybody's constantly trying to appease you. Like, you can warp reality around you to exactly what you want it to be. And what is godhood if not that right there? So, yes, having mere mortals look him in the eye, I would imagine that would not. I could see him being of that ilk.
Man.
Although I do love the is so stupid it might work element of Taylor's, sorry, Jeff's got to sign for this. Yeah, I mean,
It's his policy, not mine. I mean, how are you going to argue with
tell
that?
you, dude, if he wants to get his package. That is funny. When Jeff Bezos orders from Amazon, does he have like a direct line? Does he have like a tube that hooks up to his house and it just gets shipped directly? Does he use Amazon? I've no idea. Never considered any of this. All right, let's get into some sports talk, though. By the way, youtube.com/1045 ESPN. If you want to hang out, hit the like button, all that sorts of stuff. Drake May came out and announced that he is skipping the bowl game. Drake May is the UNC quarterback. He's been very good. For the last 2 years, essentially, it's been Caleb Williams is going to go number one. Drake May will be the second quarterback taken off of the board. Pretty in 2 years at UNC, finished with a 17-9 record. They went to the AC championship last year. He was solid, right? But he's a giant. He can run. His comp. So we always comp Caleb Williams, and again, comp does not mean they will be this successful. It's more of a style of play thing, right? Caleb Williams always gets comped as Patrick Mahomes. You can see why. We mentioned Jaden Daniels and Lamar Jackson in the same breath lately. You can see why there. Although, interestingly, Jaden Daniels a significantly better passer than Lamar. I mean, just in terms of accuracy and touch and everything, than Lamar is coming out of college. And the comp for Drake May would be Aaron Rodgers, right? I mean, really athletic, rocket arm, can throw from all sorts of insane situations. And so here's what Drake May said when it came to skipping the bowl game. Quote, "First off, moving on from college and getting back into workout mode and really just learning the steps of preparing for the NFL draft. Not only physically, but mentally. Playing quarterback in the NFL is a mental game. I want to show the NFL not only my competitive edge, but I'm a winner and a leader, and I'm ready to take on a franchise." So this quote tells a story to me that we have talked about. God, I love the DeVito family. This quote tells a story to me that we have talked about for years now, which is if you are a major NFL prospect, right? Like you're someone like Jaden Daniels, and the work you did this senior year has already rocketed you up the draft board. But if you're trying to get into that top 5, that top 10, the margins start to really matter. So things like the combine, how do you test, all this other sort of stuff. The ironic part about that is the combine is not really representative of football. It's a different training regime, right? It's one of the oddest things about it. And so you have a situation where how do you justify someone like Drake May or Jaden Daniels hanging around till January 1st for a bowl game? How do you do it? Well, when's the combine? February? End of February? Beginning of March?
Yeah,
right?
Right?
So you're going to tell me that if you're direct, because make no mistake, and this is really about Jaden Daniels, because Jaden Daniels is directly competing with these two now for draft status. According to Mel Kiper, Caleb Williams is still considered a lock for number 1, but there is heat for Jaden Daniels now to maybe overcome Drake May, and it's not hard to see why with the year that Daniels put together, combined to where the NFL meta appears to be shifting, right, in terms of just how valuable a true dual threat quarterback can be on that level, especially one that has shown the intangibles, the work ethic, and everything else that Jaden showed you this year. So he is directly competing with these two. If you're Jaden Daniels, why would you lose 2 months of NFL prep? So we could say 1 month. 1 month of NFL prep against your direct peers to go play in the ReliaQuest Bowl. I don't think you should. And I don't think that's a bad thing, right? Now, I do think it's interesting because bowl games still matter. Getting to 10 wins for LSU still matters. It sets the tone for the entirety of the offseason, right? I mean, what's one of the reasons that Penn State was so hyped up all this last year? They went and beat the hell out of Utah last year in a New Year's Six Bowl. You're going to tell me it doesn't matter to Ole Miss to try to beat, who are they playing? Why am I blanking right now? Mizzou is playing Ohio State. Who's Ole Miss playing?
My freaking mouse would work. I can tell you.
Ooh.
There we go.
I should know this.
I should know it too.
They're
Just
playing
talked about it yesterday.
Penn State.
Thank you. Ole Miss playing Penn State. They have a chance to win 11 games for the first time in school history. So, yes, these bowl games still mean things to the programs. They mean things to the coaches, the players that are going to continue to be in the programs, but they are hard or impossible to justify for major NFL prospects when they have bigger individual goals that they have to go take care of. And so, look, Drake May announced he's going. Caleb Williams technically has not announced that he's going to the NFL, but he has said he's not going to play in the bowl game. So, do the math there. And I imagine that you will see Jaden Daniels do the same. And this is the correct decision for Jaden Daniels. And it creates where I think, because as we try to make sense of bowl games in this new era, how do we think about them? How do we approach them? It's a pretty fascinating look at what they kind of can transform into, which is almost a preview of next year's team, especially when you're going through a quarterback change. And so now, again, I fully imagine that you'll see Jaden Daniels say that he's not going to play. Not 100%, but we'll see. Which means that now you're going to get a look at Garrett Nussmeier. And you got to, just really try to put yourself in Garrett Nussmeier's shoes. And you're in a tough situation. You are following up a legend. Now, not to the level of like a Miles Brennan having to follow a Joe Burrow, but in a weird way, maybe even worse, because now twice in 5 years, you've seen legendary Heisman level quarterback play. So again, when people get things multiple times, right, they start to expect it. And so, sure, while people aren't going to expect Garrett Nussmeier to set the records that Jaden Daniels did or to win the Heisman, they're going to expect greatness. It's what they're going to demand. And this game against Wisconsin will be Garrett Nussmeier's first opportunity to deliver it. And it's not just him. It's anybody, right? It's any of these young players who get opportunity that they haven't had during the regular season. You're basically going to get a full miniature camp, Now, hopefully you manage bodies correctly. You don't go too crazy here if you're the coaches, but you're going to get 15 practices to get ready for this game and to set the tone for the offseason. To try to win 10 games like you did last year, to try to go into the, really launch into that offseason with positive vibes. And if you're Garrett Nussmeier, to make your first kind of opening statement that, look, y'all bet on me in a lot of ways, right? They did with Garrett Nussmeier. If you look at basically choosing him over Walker Howard, which the coaching staff did, giving him the reps in the bowl game last year to kind of keep him happy and continue to get him experience. And granted, that's because Nuss earned it. He played very well in the SEC championship. And the flashes that we've seen out of him, there's been some really exciting stuff there. But as we talk more and more about quarterbacks and the modern college setting of quarterbacks, we see more and more that competition behooves you. Bringing in guys to compete behooves you, unless you're just really, really sold on a guy. So right now, it is Garrett Nussmeier's job to sell this LSU staff on him, and this bowl game and the practices therein will be his first opportunity to do so. Again, I would imagine. We haven't heard from Jaden yet. And so I'm going to be fascinated to see, as now you're having a quarterback assuming the mantle of a Heisman winner and having to assume it at the end of a season in a game that does matter for Brian Kelly, that does matter a lot for LSU fans and their mental health, and that does matter kind of for the legacy of LSU as they try to get another 10-win season, which, as we know, is kind of the baseline metric around these parts in which we will give you a passing grade. If you lose this game, well, then no, you 9-4, not going to cut it. And regardless, a big leap is going to be expected next year anyway. So that's another crazy thing about Nussmeier is he's going to be expected to have this team win way more than Jaden Daniels did while following up a Heisman campaign and maybe having to do it with the defense still led by Matt House. It's a very unenviable position to be in. But Nussmeier's greatest asset has always been his confidence, his kind of fearlessness. And I would say that all of that and then some is going to be put to the test here on January 1st, which, by the way, we will be doing a whiskey and wine for. Okay, boys? Now it's New Year's Day, so I know many of y'all may be hanging out with family, but for the real D-gens who want to come smoke some sticks and drink some licks, you come out to Don Juan Cigar Bar. We're going to have ourselves a good time, okay? It's going to be a lot of fun, man. All right, when we get back, I'll get to your comments. Kind of what do you think about all of this? How excited are you to see Nuss in this bowl game? Should Jaden Daniels play in the bowl game? I feel like I'm probably having an argument with myself because I don't think anybody really feels that way anymore. But if you do, let me know and we'll get to it. More OTB on the other side.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Go to All-Star Toyota, BatonRouge.com, All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. Remember, all your new Toyotas come with Toyota Care, that excellent, even your Toyota certified used vehicles, right? A bit more, less expensive because they're used, but you still get that Toyota certified used warranty, which is great. And there's different levels to the warranty, which you kind of choose as you purchase the car. So maybe what's for me isn't for you, and vice versa. But like that process, right? That customizability, them sitting down and really working with you and finding you and your family the answers that you need, whether it's buying new, used, leasing, whatever, renting. Go see Miss Lisa Sessions. All-Star's been that's what separates. Okay, it's the people and the help they give you along the way, because the Toyota product's great, right? We all know that. I always make the joke, but we all know the friends who have Toyotas like 20, 30 years, so the product's great, but the people are even better. All-Star Toyota, BatonRouge.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford is taking $15,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ford Expedition. $15,000 off new Ford Expedition. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink, or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is
Charles Hanniger joined me and Jimmy Ott for the Tuesday edition of Live at Lunch. We're at Mike Anderson Seafood, Wesley at Nicholson. Andy Iska will be among our guests. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. weekdays on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening, a beautiful sight, we're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland. Gone away is the bluebird, here to stay is a new bird. He sings a love song as we go along, walking in a winter wonderland.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Shout out my guy Fonz Fonzarelli. Let me know it was David Fisher who tweeted out the Pelicans. 10 wins over teams above 500. Interestingly, Pelicans 12-10 on the year. So basically every win against team above 500. Then again, Pelicans at 12-10 are 10th in the West. So nearly every team in the West is above 500 currently. So if you're going to win, you're going to have to beat them more often than not. Still, I'm impressed. I'm happy about it. T-Bob, your hair is out of control today, says Noogie. I know. Generally, I shower in the morning, try to get it somewhat under control, but I just rolled out of bed today and didn't feel like doing my hair. So here we are, alas.
I actually kind of like it.
You do like a little chaotic energy. What are you saying? What's up, dude?
No, I like it. I think it's.
Oh, okay. What's up, dude? Okay, hit me up after the show. Just text me. Daniel Blunt says, T-Bob, these dudes have money now. They pay for training year round. Well, okay, I don't want to be misunderstood when I talk about the training that that Jade needs to get a head start on training for the NFL. I'm not even talking about like I don't think there's ever been a barrier in terms of resources if you've been a major college recruit. I mean, even if you're not a major recruit, like you train year round for football with the strength and conditioning program. If you're not a major recruit and like you don't have an agent a prospect. If you're not a major NFL prospect and you don't have an agent that sends you to one of the big training centers, like I did not, you still have, if you go to LSU, you still have the resources. Like I have my guy, Earl trained me and a bunch of the other guys who didn't get sent off to any of these like training centers in Arizona or whatever for the combine. And it was great. And it was awesome. And it was the best that I could have asked for. So what I'm saying, it's not a matter of affording it. The resource in which you are limited in is time. And if you spend a month, and I know this sounds dumb because it is kind of dumb, but if you spend a month still practicing traditional football, you are losing a month on the guys who are training for the combine, who are doing track drills to get ready to run the 40. Maybe you're trying, I mean, this doesn't matter as much for quarterback, but you can see what I'm getting at here. Like benching 225 as many times as you can is its own technique. Running the 40 to maximize speed is its own technique. L drill, 5-10-5, throwing on air, like all these sorts of things. So it's just that you have a different style of training than football. There's only so many hours in the day. And if you're still getting ready to win another college football game, you can't do. And maybe he will, all right? Like Ryan Brack says, if Jaden still has goals unattained, like stats or one last time, etc., then he might play. Seems like the kind of guy that wants to go out with his LSU brothers. Of course, not worth the risk at this point. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe he will, right? Like Malik Neighbors just says he wants to play because he wants to become the LSU all-time lead receiver. I'll still be interested when push comes to shove if that actually happens, just given what's on the line for these cats. And when you start talking to agents and family members and they are like, look, man, are we really sure you want to do this? And if you are, go ahead. Like, I'm not going to say no to Jaden Daniels who wanted to play. I don't need to see Garrett Nussmeier that badly. Like I would love to watch Jaden Daniels play one more time in an LSU uniform. That would be awesome. It's just that when I talk about Nuss and kind of being excited to see the future, that's just the way of, I think, if you really love college football and you love your program, that's the way to kind of keep, like, these bowl games are still interesting. They're still fun. There's still a lot to watch, even as a lot of people will tell you they don't matter at all. That's not true. They don't matter to some individuals who have understandable bigger fish to fry, essentially, right? But they still matter to a ton of people, and they still matter to the programs for sure. Nookie says T-Bob Nuss is going to pull a full T. Martin this season. That'd be tight. Win a national championship, sure. Certainly doesn't feel like it from where we sit today, but maybe so. And so, yeah, look, we'll see. I guess what's the timeline on this? Dak Cage says they're going to all take insurance policies out before they step on the field again. The thing is, insurance policies are great, but it never covers the full true value that you potentially lost. It's very hard to win those battles and get those insurance policies paid out. Like, taking out an insurance policy for the bowl game to me would just be crazy. Would be wild. T-Bob looks like Wolverine got can't read that. Okay. T-Bob looking like Syndrome from The Incredibles. Okay, yeah. Champ, bunch of guys trained T-Bob several times. He's just an average dude. That's right. Never forget. 9-inch king. It's average. So his size 12 and a half now, boys, by the way. Not to brag. And the shoe size. All right. That's enough of Daniel Bashel in here. I would say Jaden Daniels should play in the bowl game if he was playing in front of Prince Chedward in the Cheez-It Bowl. But he isn't. Yes. I mean, look, when one has a chance to play in front of royalty, you do. I'm going to miss Prince Chedward this year. What is the ReliaQuest Bowl?
It used to be the Outback Bowl.
That's right.
It's like a private security company from what we looked up, which, if you want to talk about bowl game swag bags, might be something cool in there, like a pair of spy glasses or something. So I'm about that.
No, it's going to be like a facsimile of like a Ring camera. It's going to be the least tight swag bag ever. I don't think it's like an actual espionage company, right?
I don't know.
Private security?
Yeah.
Are we talking like home security? Or are you talking like BlackRock mercenary? Like,
according to the website, it's a force multiplier of security teams to increase visibility, decrease complexity, and manage risk throughout the gray matter security operations.
that sounds vaguely ominous.
I was about to say, that's so vague that there's something bigger
Just
here.
reading straight out the website.
That's a whole lot of words that said a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, it could be boring. Maybe that's also the people who guard Jeff Bezos. You know, we just have no way of knowing.
I got to become friends with that. I got to go to the game now.
I'm just upset that the Outback Bowl no longer exists, so I can't dress up as a giant bloomin' onion like Ryan Nanny, Celebrity Hot Tub, did from the Shutdown Full Cast. It's one of my favorite pictures of all time. I would love nothing more than to get a giant bloomin' onion costume on and get to go on the field.
Yeah, 2013 was fun. I remember Hilly went off, and the winning team, like I forgot you put in a promotion or whatever, and you got a free bloomin' onion. So that was cool.
So there's a swag bag I can get behind.
So what it was with the Outback Bowl, it was SEC versus Big Ten. If the SEC won, you got a free blooming onion. If the Big Ten won, you got free coconut shrimp.
The shrimp, yeah, I remember.
Oh, like everybody at the game?
Yeah, anybody that went to Outback. You go to Outback like the day after the game.
Anybody. Across the whole country.
Yeah, if the Big Ten won, you could claim a free coconut shrimp. If the SEC won, you could claim a free blooming onion.
I think you had to buy an entree too.
But like with the purchase of an entree, though, you get a free blooming onion or coconut shrimp, depending on which team won.
Wow. Yeah, ReliQuest sounds way worse now. I never knew that was a deal. I missed out on a lot of coconut shrimp and blooming onions. I mean, I guess I haven't, I probably haven't had a blooming onion in, I don't know, 16, 17 years. I mean, we're probably talking maybe like 15. We're probably talking like 08 time would have been the last time. Now I'm kind of hungry too, Scott. I agree.
So good with the spicy sauce.
Right. Ryan Bragg says ReliQuest gives you a promo koozie with a scope on it. Yeah, maybe so. Night vision goggles. Did y'all talk about Wisconsin at all when we were out?
A little bit.
Wisconsin specifically, less, more like the bowl game, you know.
Are you worried about the, are we at all worried about the dairy raid that they're running up there?
Not really.
No, word is Braylon Allen's probably not going to play in this bowl game. Tanner Mordecai.
I'll be damned if LSU doesn't. And I guess this is a function of being in the SEC and like not finishing at the top. So you're a good team that's getting slotted into lower tier bowls. But like, I'll be damned if Brian Kelly hasn't gotten some pretty favorable matchups in these first two bowl years. Because last year you had a Purdue team that had lost Aiden O'Connell, lost their head coach, was just absolutely dead in the water. And it sounds like Wisconsin may be in some of the same type of situation. Only they do have Luke Fickell, which would be a big difference between that Purdue team you faced last year and this year. Did y'all hear about the Pop-Tart Bowl? They're going to be the first bowl game in which they'll have a fully edible mascot. So as I understand this, maybe not fully edible, I believe they're going to have a human being in a Pop-Tart costume that is actually, at least parts of it, an edible Pop-Tart. So the winning players will be able to run over to the mascot and take little nibbles off him, which, Mars, should excite you. This is the only time in life when you can eat a sentient being and not go to jail.
Yeah, I was like, sounds a little cannibalistic for me, but
it's great.
You just played a full football game. You're probably really hungry. I'm with that.
Y'all ever put butter on your Pop-Tarts?
No.
I've heard you talk about it, and I want
it's fat.
But no.
It's very good, though. It's very good. Melt a little butter, brush it on there. Chew after you heat that thing up. Very, very tasty. Man, now I want a blooming onion. What flavor Pop-Tart would you make your mascot?
Me, I like the hot fudge sundae. That's my favorite one.
What?
That's my favorite Pop-Tart.
I have never heard anyone answer
the
hot fudge sundae
is so good.
as their favorite Pop-Tart.
It's really good.
I mean, I thought s'mores was weird, though I'm sure many people would choose s'mores. Hot fudge sundae feels like a real wild card.
That's my favorite one. It's really
good.
good.
It's like a classic strawberry with like the rainbow frosty sprinkles or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, brown sugar cinnamon's the answer.
Oh,
Emil Texas strawberry is the only answer. That's wrong too. Brown sugar cinnamon is the premier Pop-Tart flavor and
It's
has
good.
been for years.
It's a little basic.
Yeah, that's the LeBron of Pop-Tarts. The Jordan is the frosted strawberry.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think that's a pretty good analogy. Which I don't know why my dad does these things. Sometimes he calls me and just like talks about very random general sports talk stuff. And he called me the other night to let me know that he thinks that LeBron is better than Michael Jordan.
All of our dads do that, so it's awesome.
That he's the greatest player of all time because of the longevity of his career and how he shows up every single year and is still competing with these young guys. Mario's counting rings behind the glass. So look, do what you will. Just know that Bobby Hebert is now firmly in he's a LeBronistan. He's a LeBron stan.
Damn, didn't see that one coming.
I know. I kind of didn't either. But look, real recognize real.
Yeah.
Okay. Ryan Bragg, cinnamon toast with butter, fat kid chicken. Yeah, that's how you know. All right, when we get back, let's talk a little Monday Night Football. Then new Tulane coach John Sumrall had a hell of a quote in his opening press conference. And then coming up at 8 a.m., I think this is going to be a good one, guys. This is going to be one you're going to want to pay attention to. We're going to dive into recruiting LSU, this 2024 class, and how you should feel about it. I think it's a kind of a complex picture. There's a lot of nuance there. So stick around for more Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time to slip away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
I've been doing business with Luber for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
For a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, Glenn West on the Tigers, Sharif Ishak on the Saints, and Cody Worsham on the weekend in NYC. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome back. OTB, T-Bob, Mario Taylor hanging out with you today. How about those Monday night football, dudes? Oh, wow. This is crazy. We'll get to Summerall and Tulane a bit later. But how about Monday Night Football last night, dude? Tommy DeVito. Tommy D. A lot of Cajun Cannon energy out of Tommy DeVito, right? A hometown kid. Won a state championship in high school there. Now playing for the hometown team. Having success. 3-1 as a starter. When Tommy DeVito took over, the Giants were 2-7. They're now 5-8, 1 game out of the wild card, and it all culminates last night in a big final game-winning drive where DeVito goes 4-4 for 53 yards in just 7 plays over the final minute 33 and sets up the game-winning field goal. And really sets up the field goal with a fantastic throw to Wan'Dale Robinson on a little corner route where he kind of, great touch just right over the defensive back. So now you have an undrafted rookie, and there's the same way that I get really excited about Jaden Daniels, and then I get really angry a second later about Matt House. Giants fans have to have some element of that where they feel really excited about Tommy DeVito, and then they remember a second later that they paid Daniel Jones $40 million, and DeVito's already done things that Daniels has never done. Like, what was the one, or Daniel Jones? What was one a few weeks ago? He threw 3 touchdowns in a game, and I don't think Daniel Jones has ever done that.
He's never done that.
Like 50 starts or something along those lines.
Or it was throwing for 250 and 3 touchdowns in the same game, something like that.
He's now got 7 touchdowns and 1 pick. He's 3-1 as a starter, and so again, that's great. But for a Giants fan, it's probably a bit maddening, and for Daniel Jones, it's gotta feel bad as you now have an undrafted rookie doing things that you have not been able to do at any point. But who doesn't love the Tommy DeVito story? I've come full circle. When we originally heard, because I wasn't fully checked in on DeVito yet, so when we originally heard the living with his mom thing, his mom making his bed, I was a bit critical, and that's on me. But I thought he moved his parents with him. I had missed the obvious element of him. No, he just stated like that is his hometown. He's just living literally at home, and that's actually pretty great. That's pretty fantastic. And he's having success, and you're seeing his family's in the stands, and it's awesome. And now the Giants with a big win over the Packers last night, a team that they are directly competing with for the final wild card spot. Any thoughts on that game before we talk Titans Dolphins?
Exciting finish to an ugly football game. If you're a Packers fan, you probably still don't know what you have in Jordan Love, which is so weird to say because he's been the starter for almost a full year now. I mean, there's been a lot of highs, and then you see a performance like last night when he's really bad and gets outplayed by Tommy DeVito. it's really weird. I mean,
but those statistical comparisons between him and Rodgers make me confused. You know, because none of us remember Aaron Rodgers being that mortal. Yeah. Where like in their first year starting, they're actually putting up the exact same numbers. So as dumb as this is, my brain, I'm like, okay, I'm not out on Jordan Love.
Yeah, he's been inconsistent, but like Taylor says, you see the good moments, you see the not so good moments like last night. But as far as this year's Packers, that was a bad loss because the Lions were slumping a little bit. Some people were even putting some futures tickets on Green Bay to win the division because they still had an outside shot. But they definitely digressed a little bit last night. And as far as the Giants, they got a lot of momentum going into this game in New Orleans on Sunday, probably more than the home team. So
great.
I'm sure that's going to be a lot of fun.
Hey, we know how New Orleans is against backup QBs. It hasn't been great, so we'll see what Tommy DeVito's got. I was telling Mario before the show, I was like, I get it. Is Tommy DeVito probably going to work out long term? Probably not, but it is so fun to see a guy named DeVito who grew up in New York playing for the Giants. They call him Tommy Cutlets. Like I love
agree. They call him Tommy Cutlets.
Tommy Cutlets.
So
good.
The cutlets at his family tailgate looked so good, man.
Tommy Cutlets. Yeah, he did say it's good for business. All the presses, all the exposure. All right. Well, we're going along. We'll go to break. Wrap up the other Monday night game. We get back again 8 a.m. We'll get into LSU recruiting. We'll save the John Summerall Tulane talk for a bit later in the program. Keep it locked. YouTube.com/1045 ESPN.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on new 23 Jeep Grand Cherokee, $10,000 off new Jeep Grand Cherokee, and all new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
His name was King. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
Hey, boat owners, check it out. It is the holiday season, which means it's time to buy yourself a gift by taking your boat to the next level with our friends at Front to Back Boat Service. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your boat and get it ready for that warmer weather, whether that's trolling motors, HD sonar, anything and everything. The Sherman family's been at it for 30 years, and Devin's going to take you through 30 more. Find them on Facebook at Front to Back Boat Service or go to fronttobackboatservice.com.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Signing day, a little more than a week away. We'll visit with Shea Dixon, and Sean Salisbury stops by 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
It's going to be tough to dislike. Dude, it's getting harder and harder to dislike Tommy DeVito on a week in which we should not be celebrating Tommy DeVito. Just got informed about his agent by Chad, Sean Stellato, who this man cannot, and DeVito's been doing the Italian finger celebration. And Stellato, his agent, could not look more stereotypical. All black suit, gold chain on. He's got a fedora.
Yeah, wearing the fedora.
Rocking the fedora. Simply fantastic. You know who else was fantastic last night? Will Levis, dude. Will Levis. 327 pass yards. How about this? That's an NFL record for Monday Night Football. There's never that is the most ever by a rookie quarterback. That's got to be such a great feeling. Get a Monday Night Football record. Like, nobody can ever take that away from Levis anymore. And he made some really big time throws. And how weird is the NFL where you're the Dolphins, you're 9-3, you're tied for the 1 seed in the AFC, you're at home, you're up 15 with 4 minutes remaining. At this point in the game, with 3:59 on the clock, you have a 99 win percentage. And yet, because everybody's so good in the NFL and the margins are so razor thin, out of nowhere, for the final 4 minutes of the game, everything falls apart. Will Levis leads back-to-back touchdown drives. Tua and the offense stalls out multiple times. And all of a sudden, you lose by 1 to the Titans. Within that 4 minutes, a bad Titans team led by a rookie quarterback, and now the Ravens are in sole possession of the 1 seed in the AFC. I just thought that game right there was very indicative of just how hard it is to win in the NFL and how hard it is to become like the 1 seed.
We were talking about it yesterday when you mentioned the Cowboys' upcoming schedule, and we were just talking about Jordan Love, like, is he a good quarterback or not? I don't know if the Dolphins are a good team or not. I can't figure it out. They have really good weeks. They have really bad weeks. And then when you look at the teams they've played, the best team that they've beaten is the Denver Broncos way back in week 3. And, I mean, they dominated them that game. But look at the other teams they've beaten. The Raiders, the Jets, the Commanders, the Patriots twice. I mean, the Giants. I don't know what to make of this Dolphins team because they have a good offense. They have a pretty good record, but, I mean, who have they beaten? When they get into tight games, it kind of seems like this year it's always going the other way, which is a little weird.
They are a good team, but maybe not as good as their record would have you believe. Yeah. They're somewhat the beneficiaries of, like you said, an easier schedule thus far, and they have very clear flaws. Now, and they're running into some injury trouble as well. Now, I do think if they're healthy, they are good enough to make noise in the playoffs, but they're not the kind of certified winners that the Ravens have proven to be over the last few years with a healthy Lamar Jackson, at least regular season success, right? They have to go and improve it. But look, the NFC looks like they have superpowers in the Niners. The Cowboys are playing that way. I still would put the Eagles there. I know that, whatever, they've lost a couple of those tilts recently, but like I'm still would not bet against the Philadelphia Eagles. Who are the AFC superpowers?
I mean, right now you got Ravens at 1, right? But
yeah.
Then after that, I mean, the Chiefs have looked more vulnerable this year.
So that's kind of my point that I'm getting at is you have an AFC that, the Dolphins may not be good like you're saying or great or whatever, but they're still very capable of making noise in the AFC because there is no clear. And like even the Ravens, that's the 1 seed, but what's the one big knock on Lamar and the Ravens that they haven't in his tenure been able to win playoff games, at least not consistently enough. And so if you're 1 seed, if that's like their biggest weakness, well, that makes it all feel very wide open. Then again, what are we talking about? It's just going to be the Chiefs at the end, right? I know it doesn't feel that way. I know all logic says it shouldn't be that way, and they continue to kind of shoot themselves in the foot. But it'll likely just be Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs at the end.
It feels like their problems are fixable. Like their bad losses have been due to dumb penalties and bad drops by the wide receivers. Like it feels like they can fix that.
I agree.
Also, I don't like McDaniel. I feel like his shtick's getting kind of old. Like, oh, I'm a cool coach. I vape. Look at me.
He doesn't even vape.
I don't necessarily disagree with you, actually.
Thank you.
And I was on board with him at the beginning.
I think y'all are projecting. We might have to
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
I've been doing business with Luber for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Countryside, I saw him ride. One day they found him.
Good morning, everybody. It is AM on Tuesday, December 12th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect clear skies with a high of 61. Coming up on OTB, we have a new edition of OTB Mailbag at 8:15, and Nick Underhill of New Orleans Football joins the show to talk Saints to kick off the third hour. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 104.5 ESPN channel. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome back. OTB, T-Bob, Mario, Taylor hanging out with you today. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Sorry, my computer shut down, so I am getting everything up and running again, but don't really matter. Let's go ahead and dive into some LSU Cruton news. First off, we'll start with just like these are little tidbits that Taylor put in here that I wanted to touch on. Did I lose? Oh, okay, here it is. Out of the portal, LSU's hosting Mississippi State wide receiver Xavier Thomas. This is one of the top targets out of the portal for LSU. He is a receiver and return specialist. Okay, Aaron Anderson didn't work. Let's try once again. And look, Xavier Thomas is a John Ehret, so he's a Louisiana native. He went to Mississippi State in 2022. Didn't really play, 2 catches, 4 yards. But last season, 40 grabs, 503 yards, and 1 touchdown. Now, you may be saying, well, T-Bob, that's not really that much to write home about. Well, let's be clear. Catching 40 balls for 500 yards in Mississippi State's offense this year, that's basically like Malik Neighbors' numbers right there, right? That is water in the desert sort of numbers. So Xavier Thomas is currently one of the top targets of this LSU staff, and I think it's a good sell. Come on home. And as we've seen more and more and more, you can never have enough good receivers. You know, look at how Alabama created some of their elite teams recently. Look at the difference in a team like Penn State versus some of the teams they lost to. Just no threat on the outside. Look at the success that having Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors leads to when you talk about combining them with someone like Jaden Daniels. And, the benefits are easy to see. So hopefully we'll be seeing some news on Xavier Thomas soon. Anything to add there, Taylor?
Yeah, so the thing about Xavier Thomas that may not show up when you're looking at his pure receiving stats, it's his return numbers, which is what LSU desperately needs. I mean, the guy has almost 400 punt return yards the last 2 seasons, 300 kick return yards, has a touchdown in each. I mean, let's look what he did in the Mississippi State game. Keep in mind, the A&M game. Mississippi State lost that game 51-10, but, I mean, he made plays. He had 2 returns for 115 yards and a touchdown in that game. LSU has not had a decent returner in like 4 years now, so I think that's going to be his role more than anything. I mean, if you remember, they bring in Aaron Anderson last year for this spot. It immediately doesn't work out for whatever reason. I mean, I think he's going to be more of a return specialist here.
And yeah, hopefully, third time's a charm. I don't know. It's got to work eventually, right? Even though it seems like LSU may be a bit cursed when you think back, and the guy who failed originally was Malik Neighbors, which is kind of wild to think about now with where he's done since that Florida State game. In some recruiting news, the 2025 class for LSU is one that people are very excited about. It's a far way off, so I'm not too excited. But there was kind of an interesting little tidbit. As a 5-star Alabama commit, Ryan Williams was the top receiver in the class. He just reclassified in 2024, meaning 5-star wide receiver DeCorian Moore from Duncanville, Texas, who is currently committed to LSU, is now the number 1 wide receiver in the entire class. He's the number 4 prospect in the country. And if LSU ends up landing him, long way away, it would be the highest-ranked wide receiver the program's ever signed. Anything to add there before we get to? I mean, I don't really. 2025 is a long way off, but somewhat I think people somewhat interested for people that you could get the top guy in the country.
Yeah, he's a good player. Tall, lean, wide receiver. Look, Duncanville has stars all over. Caden Durham, who's on his way to LSU, he plays at Duncanville. Colin Simmons, the number 1 player in the country right now, he plays at Duncanville. I mean, he is used to playing with high-profile players, which he will here, and he might actually be the best player on that offense. That includes a Caden Durham, that includes all these talented guys. So while he's only a junior, he's putting up big-time numbers in these big-time games out in Texas.
And then finally, in some 2024 news, and we're going to dive into the 24 class here, but in some 2024 news, LSU flips a big-time commit. Defensive lineman Gabriel Relaford, he's a number 4 prospect in Louisiana. He was a Texas A&M commit. He has now flipped to LSU. And importantly, when he decommitted from Texas A&M, the 2 schools that he was going to decide between, LSU and USC. For me, this is a big symbolic win for LSU because, as you know, I'm a bit nervous about LSU going into this modern era of recruiting when it comes to some of the NIL disadvantages that they appear to have. And that's what we're going to kind of explore right here. But he was a big priority. Okay, you flip him from A&M, you keep him from SC, and he's kind of viewed as maybe the icing on the cake for the 2024 class, which is now up to 27 commits. But it begs the question, how should you feel about the 2024 class for LSU? You are 12th in the country right now. You have 27 commits, like we said. You've done a good job with Louisiana. You have 10 of the top 12 players in the state committed to you. The only players you're missing are Dominic McKinley, who is currently the second-ranked player in the state. He is committed to Texas A&M. And, of course, Wardell Mack, the corner. God, it seems like he would be just perfect for what LSU needs right now, but he is committed to Texas. But still, 10 of top 12. That's essentially, I would say, putting up the walls around the state that every LSU coach needs to try to do. But it gets complicated because 12th is good for a lot of schools. It's kind of subpar for LSU. LSU's used to being closer to top 5 and at least in the top 10. And as you know, I don't look at individual recruits. I look at aggregate rankings. I think they do have value, and you want to be in that top 10 if you're trying to win national championship. But maybe more damning than being ranked 12th in the country is you're 7th in the SEC now. When you look at both Texas and Oklahoma joining, you are currently behind Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, and the Auburn Tigers when it comes to that 24 class. So 12th in the country is good. 7th in the SEC, that's not quite going to cut it over time, in my opinion. Before we get into these NIL numbers, how do y'all, because Taylor, I don't know about you, Mara, I don't think you like recruiting too much. I know Taylor generally follows it way closer than I do. How do you feel about this 24 class?
I don't look at star rankings. It's, did you feel your positions of need? Getting a Relaford, Texas A&M, that is a position of need. We talked about the defensive line. Mason Smith was underwhelming this year. Makai Wingo, what's he going to do? What's his future going to look like? You lose Jordan Jefferson, who was your best defensive tackle. So getting in guys in the trenches like that, I like. You need a lot more DBs in this class, though. You just mentioned Wardell Mack would be huge for this class. He wants to take his talents to Texas for whatever reason. But
well, I think I know the reason, which we'll get into.
But yeah, but you get some more DBs in this class. I feel good about it. You got a lot of talent at receiver already, and you're bringing in some talent there. You're bringing in a Caden Durham to add to your running back room. What are they going to do at quarterback? Are they going to go to the transfer portal? We know Colin Hurley's coming in, who's really talented. So while I think there are some significant spots you need to fill, the guys they have now really do fill needs for LSU. So like while you're not ranked this high, I think you have a good collection of guys that could come in and help.
Okay, so maybe not star chasing. Again, I mean, I still don't know, though, if I can champion the positional recruiting when how much help are you getting in the secondary in this class as it stands
That's
currently?
the big issue.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm
got to
saying.
get help there.
And that's also the most glaring issue on LSU. Though I do think they like Toviano and Ashton Stamps, what they saw out of them this year, but you still need depth. I mean, right, this year proved that more so than anything. You can't, if you can't have enough wide receivers, you really cannot have enough DBs. Like you just can't. Look at Alabama. how they've been so successful. Look at Georgia. Look at where you have fallen off and what that's translated to. So you're 12th in the country. You got no 5 stars, which, whatever. LSU generally doesn't do good with 5 stars anyway. They're fairly good at developing 4 and 3. I like that 27 number. That's a big number. So to Taylor's point, kind of still continuing to recoup some of those original roster losses and fatten up the roster just from a pure number standpoint. But where it gets most interesting to me is this is a class, or LSU right now has an average NIL evaluation of 61K. And if you look around the country, Miami and Oregon are the only schools kind of comparable to that, ahead of them at 62K. And, let me look something up. Oh, God. I'm just going to, I want to go down this road, but I'm going to be completely, this is just going to have to be a completely honest moment. I think I have an entire segment that I thought was very good that just blew up in my face with a moment of realization. Do we know with On3, the average NIL valuation, Taylor, maybe you can help me out here. Is that what LSU is? Are that what these schools are spending? Or is that the valuation of what the players are thought to be worth? Or is there even a discernible difference between the two? Because if that's what a player worth, that's what they're making.
Yeah, I kind of think it's what you said there. Like,
Okay,
one kind of directly correlates to the other. But if you look at 1-3, like when you look at 1-3, before a guy even commits, they do like a projected NIL value of each individual player as well.
Okay, but sorry, I had a moment of panic there. But yeah, okay, so it is what they are. It is what they are thought to be worth. But obviously, if you're thought to be worth that, somebody's going to pay you that. Okay, so right now, LSU has an average NIL valuation of 61K. Miami and Oregon are the only schools comparable with LSU that are ahead of it. Miami's at 62K, Oregon's at 69K. Here's where it gets a bit scary and where LSU looks like this is my long-term fear here. Have you all looked at the top 5 recruiting class and their valuations? At 5, you got Florida, currently averaging $120,000. You have FSU at number 4, $117,000. Alabama at 3, $132,000. Ohio State at 2, $131,000. And then UGA at number 1 with 28 commits and an average NIL valuation of $140,000. In fact, there are only 6 schools with that average over 100K, and Texas is the only school not in the top 5, and it's only because they have a limited number of recruits. And they're 8th in the entire country. And so the correlation between monetary resources and where you're going to finish on the recruiting trail feels pretty damn obvious at this point. And in the case of LSU, maybe slightly damning. I mean, how do you out-recruit teams when they can literally spend double what you do? Right? I mean, okay, what do you say? You're at 61,000? So Florida's W at 120, FSU's basically double at 117, Bama's way over W at 131, same thing with Ohio State 131, UGA 140. Like over the long term, how do you keep pace? Isn't this the whole reason why all this conference realignment is taking place? Why schools want so desperately out of the ACC even before this most recent ACC drama? Because here they sit and they're like, wait, how am I supposed to, like if we're all supposed to do the Power 5, how am I supposed to compete with the Big Ten and the SEC when they're getting $80 million payouts a year and I'm getting $30 million payouts a year? It's just not feasible. Well, how am I supposed to compete with the teams I'm recruiting against when they can pay guys or have the resources to pay double what I do? Now, we're still early on in all of this. These valuations, you could say, are still sketchy. And like we said, right, just because they're saying what a player is worth does not mean that's what he's actually getting paid. Who knows? Like, this is all a very inexact science still at this point. But these early data points, these early returns, I don't love them. They kind of feel like a harbinger of maybe potential bad things to come. Again, it doesn't feel great when the top 5 are all nearly double what you're currently able to spend. And for what it's worth, though, or I should say this, in defense of LSU, for what it's worth, if you look at, okay, who else is in your neighborhood spending-wise? First off, you are beating a few schools who are above you, and you still are pretty much out-recruiting everyone who's in that $60K sort of zone, except for, as I said, Oregon, Miami, and Oklahoma. I don't know what the future holds. Well, we will have to wait and see, but like, this is why you hired Brian Kelly, to have to try to coach his way through some potential major deficiencies. I mean, again, does it surprise anyone that Alabama, Ohio State, and UGA have the most talent in the country? Alabama, Ohio State, and UGA are the teams every single year that are, right there in the top 4 in terms of rankings, playoffs, all that sort of stuff. And Alabama, UGA, and Ohio State are spending the most money out of anyone. You got to hope to be like Michigan, right? Who they're more in your range. They don't have like, to your point, Taylor, Michigan would be the blueprint for LSU, given that they don't really star chase. Their blue chip ratio is barely above the 50% threshold that we say you have to win a national championship, and yet they are still finding ways to be there in the end. And that's a credit to Harbaugh and what he's put together. And you could say Stallions and all that, but we'll see. Like, that's what LSU is going to need to try to replicate, because I do not think you're going to be able to keep up financially. All right, let's go to break. When we get back, we got some OTB mailbag.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
CentralPlumbing.org, CentralPlumbing.org. 925-8552 is the number. Plug it in your phone, save it. And then if you ever have any plumbing issues, you go to Central Plumbing, where, look, you get 24/7 emergency service. You get a flat rate pricing structure between those surprise or hidden fees. Everything's licensed, bonded, and insured. Everybody coming into your home, they send you information ahead of time about who's coming in your home. There's great warranty once the work is done. And so, look, whether it's a full-on new installation, a simple fix, Central Plumbing is your answer. They've been at it for 50 years, okay? So they can solve all your problems because they've seen all. They've got a massive fleet, and they've really grown in those 5 decades, and you just don't do that unless your customers are consistently satisfied. And look, remember, if you're a plumber out there, maybe you're interested in becoming one, great place to work as well. Pay, benefits, all that. So go check them out today. CentralPlumbing.org, 925-8552, CentralPlumbing.org.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Hurry into your local Acura dealer for the Season of Performance event going on now.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Life in Louisiana is a song. A symphony of sound, colors, and movement. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Bayou Ford is taking $15,000 off MSRP on new 23 Ford Expedition. $15,000 off new Ford Expedition. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product is always customer satisfaction. Visit us online at reliefwindows.com. Oh, by the way, we do shutters too.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency.
Henniger joined me and Jimmy Ott for the Tuesday edition of Live at Lunch. We're at Mike Anderson Seafood, Wesley at Nicholson. Andy Iskoe will be among our guests. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. weekdays on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
So Mara asked me a question during the break, like, do you actually like talking about NAL? Do you like this or that? And I don't care for any of the debates over like whether or not it should exist. Like, I think it's a height of absurdity that the NCAA is still out here like trying to fight this thing. I am kind of fascinated in the birth of a new marketplace and seeing who rises and falls. But specifically for me, it just all goes back to LSU, where the power of LSU, we've always said, is in the soil, right? It's why you've managed to win so many natties because you have so much natural homegrown talent. Don't get me wrong, like players have always been getting paid in college football, but when it was more underground, you could keep up easier, because less guys are getting paid and they were getting paid less amounts. Now that you're just straight up able to pay, well, the rich people can start to lean. And so LSU's power is in the soil because all the natural homegrown talent. But my fear is that LSU's greatest weakness may also lie in the fabric of Louisiana, which is just with a awful state economy and decreasing population. And so, like, a lot of my insecurities about this state in general, are they finally coming? Like, that's my main interest level. Will they, over 5 to 10 years, come home to roost, and all of a sudden LSU goes from being an elite team? They'll never fall off completely. They'll still be better than, like, but do you go from being a team where, like, LSU's always been knocking on the door of being in that top 5 consistently club, at like 8 to 5 range, with these really high highs in between? Do you drop more 12 to 10 now consistently? Like, do you take a step back because your state economy and lack of resources finally now come into play? Maybe will, maybe won't. Again, birth of a new marketplace is wild. It's dynamic. It's volatile. I have no idea. I don't know if there's any subject more confusing to parse through than economics. And I just mean that, like, you'll just have experts on both sides saying completely opposite things and both sounding very correct. So I don't know how it's going to play out, but that was always my fear. And here early on, at least, it seems like maybe some of those fears are being realized. But again, this is something that will only be really proven over with like a 10-year sample size. So no, that's all I care about is NFL. Like, who are the big, like Mizzou fascinates me right now, because they, like LSU, are a flagship university, so there's no other major competition for recruits or resources in the state. They're all in, their state, they just changed their state laws to where if you commit to Mizzou as a high school player, you can start getting paid NIL money. So they are all in terms of trying to funnel resources, and it's starting to pay dividends. They're getting big-time recruits. They're getting big-time transfers. They just had a big-time season. So, like, yeah, there will be, in this chaos, there will be risers and fallers, and I'm just interested to see how all that works out. I don't care about talking about whether or not players should be paid or how much they should be paid. I think everybody should get all the money that somebody is willing to give them. We'll talk about Shohei Ohtani later. Hell yes, dude.
Well, we were talking about it during the break, and we were saying, like, one of the pushbacks, people will be like, well, T-Bob, LSU has more money than that. They're just averaging $61,000 per recruit. It's like, yeah, that's true, but why is that? Is it because that's what those players command, or is it because the really high-priced talent are going elsewhere?
Yeah, well, exactly, right? And that's why, even though I panicked there for a second, it was a real moment of insecurity. One begets the other.
Yeah.
Right? And so, yes, even if it's not one-to-one, even if the estimations are somewhat off, I think you can take these numbers and feel very comfortable that those top 5 schools have much deeper pockets than you. Even if it's not exactly double or this or that, like they still have much. And look, I've talked to a lot of these small business owners, man, and it's really starting to ring a bit hollow when every coach is hitting you up for money that you just don't have, and the coaches are making the most money. Like, it's weird for Brian Kelly, who's making $10 million a year, to go to business owners and say, hey, we need more money, when he's making significantly more money than them. I mean, these coaches need to go ahead and figure out a way to start laundering, Let's call up, what was Tommy's agent's name?
Sean Stellato.
Okay, get Sean Stellato on the line. Maybe get in touch with Tommy Cutlets and the fam. It's time to start, yes, that guy right there. It's time to start laundering some of your salary back into paying players, coaches.
Yeah.
If you really want to be about it.
And this is just very surface level thinking, but like going with what you said, if you're a small business, if you're just a common man and you hear the radio spots coming on, like the team needs you, the program needs you, it's like that's just very strange. Like you need monetary compensation from the fans that are, common folk. It's just new college football, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, look, and some fans love it, and that's cool, and give whatever you want, man, right? I mean, like it's better than for some people, they'll be like, yeah, I'd rather do that than spend money on whatever, donating to political campaigns, like whatever. Donate your money to whatever you want to, but like, yeah, I mean, shoot, I ain't doing that.
Exactly. Like I hear that. I hear that commercial, and I'm like, you got me messed up. Is this Bernie Sanders? Like, come on, man.
It's one of those things you hear, you're like, yeah, man, I wish more people in Baton Rouge would step up, and they'll call you and be like, I can't do it.
No, see, that's my problem, is that I'm not blaming anyone for not stepping, or that my problem is, my fear, not my problem. My fear, I'm not blaming anyone for not stepping up. Like, even billionaires that are here, whatever. I don't, it is, you all do whatever you want to do. My thing is, even if everybody steps up, you still don't have the resource. That's my fear, is that your state economy, you still don't have the money. You just don't, compared to these other states like Florida, Georgia, Texas. And those are these states that you just happen to be directly competing with. Oh, and now directly competing with more so than ever when you look at Texas joining the SEC. All right, let's do a quick OTB mailbag here.
Special delivery! I have this special delivery for off the bench. And look, it is marked most urgent.
We'll be writing to you.
The internet. What the is the internet?
All right. Hashtag OTB mailbag. Greg says, over under 10 years till the Big Ten and the SEC plus a handful of others completely split away to form their own football league. It feels so extreme that I would say over 10 years, but maybe that seems a bit naive at the rapid pace of change that we've seen in college football recently. I do think some sort of super league is potentially coming. I just hope when they do it, that they aren't cowards and they do a relegation system. Of course, nobody will ever agree to this because why would you? Like, if you want to be in the club, you want to get paid. It's why even a lot of major football teams, soccer teams, try to break off and form their own super league without relegation, because relegation is terrifying for business owners and managers and everything. But Yeah, I maybe I'm being naive. I would still say over 10 years. Hashtag go to be mailbag. You spending a bunch of money on 5 stars is what you want. Oh, but wait, you said 5 stars don't stay at the first school, right? So why are you worried about NIL? No, that's not what I said. 5-star quarterbacks specifically stay at a less than 50% rate. 5 stars, I haven't seen the data, but no, I don't think 5 stars transfer at any great rate. Like 5 stars at other positions, a lot of time generally only transfer if they aren't playing or it's not working out, which in that case, maybe they're not as good as thought to be originally. So no, look, I know people, I know LSU's had a rough run of 5 stars, and I know people love to bash on recruiting rankings, and they'll hold up, look, well, here's a guy who was the last guy in the class, and he was awesome, and here's a guy who's a 5-star, and he was awful. But if you look at the numbers, guys, the 5 stars end up in the NFL more than anybody else. Like the numbers do bear out that the scouting in aggregate is accurate. And so, yeah, you still want the best players in your class. Like, I don't know if Jake was here, he'd probably be mad at me and champion the other side, but it's just, the numbers are the numbers. The 5 stars are still the best players. Hashtag go to be mailbag. I'd rather get a 3 or 4-star that wants to play at LSU more than paying for a 5-star that not going to save. He doesn't make enough. I don't know, man. My old man used to always say, look, you can have the team full of Rudies. Give me a team full of Pro Bowlers. You know, so maybe if you want the Rudy, sure. I'll still try to get Randy Moss. Which, by the way, have you ever looked up? I was talking about Heisman snubs yesterday. Have you ever looked up Randy Moss's 97 and 98 season at Marshall?
I've seen the video, yeah.
It is. His stats are the craziest thing you will ever see in your entire life. We're talking 26 touchdowns in like 12 games, 20 yards a catch, 96 catches, nearly 2,000 yards. It was just silly.
Was that the Woodson Heisman?
Yes.
Yeah, you could argue Woodson should have been third.
Yeah, exactly. I think
that's
that's the hole that I fell into.
I saw the 3 finalists the other day. They were showing them, and I was like, imagine having Charles Woodson, Peyton Manning, and Randy Moss. Like, is that the best NFL career of like a collection of Heisman finalists?
That is true. I mean, that is.
I was looking at that, and I was like, those guys are Hall of Famers.
Maybe best on the at their position like ever type of guys. That's a good point. Is this somebody look this up? I won't talk about it because I don't know about it. Hashtag go to be my bag. Thoughts on the rumors of Marvin Harrison Jr. supposed to be offered 1 year, $25 million to return to OSU? Let me know if that's true.
I saw that somewhere. It was like somebody wanted to offer him about as much as like an average NFL rookie would make or whatever.
Hashtag go to be mailbag with the defensive hire of D'Anton Lynn from UCLA, the DC. And the hire of Matt Entz from North Dakota State. Is Lincoln Riley finally getting his act together defensively at SC? I mean, yeah, those feel like very good hires. UCLA's defense was awesome this last year. It's the only reason why they were any good. And he finally moved on from Alex Grinch. So you would think it would pay dividends, but Lincoln Riley's had multiple defensive coordinators and hasn't worked yet. So I guess I can't give him that benefit of the doubt until we see it.
I'll say he's trying to get his act together. He finally moved on from Alex Grinch. He got rid of the toxic girlfriend, if you will, finally made her the ex. Trying to better himself. Will it work? I don't know, but, I mean, at least he's trying.
Man, I enjoyed USC's downfall this year. So much hype coming in. So much wasted potential. Love to see it.
Hashtag go to mailbag. Thoughts on Deion and Colorado's O-line portaling? And last I checked, Colorado landed 6 new guys on O-line front. Yeah, they've been killing it. They flipped a massive 5-star tackle from all the big schools. They got, I think, the number 3 guard in the portal. And the thing about Colorado's offensive line is they are like LSU's defense. We don't need you to be good. Like, look at the numbers you put up. You're good. If you're just average, you become that much better. And so, no, Deion's been doing a great job of shopping for new offensive line talent. They could probably have a new front 5 completely next year.
I guess that's the thing, because I saw a lot of people say, oh, yeah, well, you got a couple transfers from smaller schools. But like you said, is their offensive line actually going to be worse than last year? Probably not. So anything is an improvement over last year.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Same thing where some people were like, oh, well, throwing 5 guys together doesn't work that well, blah, blah. It's like, well, again.
Could it be worse?
Nowhere to go but up. Like the LSU defense, we don't need you to be good. Just be okay. You could have just been okay this year. You would have competed for championships. All right. Let's go to break. When we get back, we're going to talk to Jay Clark, the LSU gymnastics head coach. Jim getting ready to open up their showcase this Friday. It's going to be a great time. Keep it locked right here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
I've been doing business with Luber for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The importance of doing this Fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the Fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a Fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
Join me for a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Glenn West on the Tigers, Sharif Ishak on the Saints, and Cody Worsham on the weekend in NYC. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's that time of year again. Kool-Aid Man, you ready for Christmas? Oh, yeah. Yeah. All I really want for Christmas. All I really want for Christmas. All I really want for Christmas is everything on my list, baby. Hey. All I really want
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome back to OTB. And right now, it's time to talk some LSU Gym with head coach Jay Clark as Gym 101 Showcase coming up this weekend. It's the first chance to see the Tigers compete for free in the PMAC, fresh off a massive year last year, the magical run to the Final Four. Got a loaded roster. Coach Clark, what's going on, man?
Hey, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on this morning.
Hey, so talk to me a little bit about what this offseason's been like. Like I said, the magical run, making the finals last year. Then you enter the offseason. What's goal number one when you're coming off of a year like the one y'all had?
Well, I mean, from my perspective, it didn't feel very magical when we were going through it. I mean, we were a banged up, beat up bunch of kids, but just a lot of grit, a lot of fight, and they were doing it for the right reasons. They were doing it for each other. They were doing it for LSU. And when a team's unselfish like that, and they feel like their back's against the wall, good things can happen sometimes. I think for me this year, the question is, can we have those same attributes if we're healthy and when when we've got a full boat of people, can we do it for those reasons? Because there's a lot of mouths to feed on this team. I've got a lot of good kids, very deep on paper, and so whether they can exhibit that kind of tenacity when things are going well will be the biggest question for me.
And look, you got 11 seniors on this roster, 4 juniors, 3 sophomores, 4 freshmen, a couple of big-time transfers as well. Like, it is a loaded roster. You mentioned the mouths to feed. I don't think, I probably speak for many of us, right? I love bringing my daughters to the meets, and I love going to the meets, and I like watching them. It's awesome. It's exciting. I do not understand the nuances of kind of roster management. So when you talk about keeping mouths fed, like what does that look like? How do you make sure that everybody stays happy and stays engaged?
Well, this is the first time since I've been here at LSU where we have the level of depth where we could literally almost field 2 lineups on every event.
Wow.
We're too deep on and that's new. So we're going through as coaches and doing the equivalent. It doesn't really translate, but kind of the equivalent of a depth chart when we look at who goes first on a particular event versus who goes 6th or 3rd. With those, there's some strategy that goes into those lineups, and a lot of it depends on consistency, start values, scoring potential, those kinds of things. And so we're spending a lot of time this month trying to project things out through the season when the emotion is not involved. You get into the week of a meet and things, the emotion of wanting to win, and those things can take over. We've got to make logical decisions. We've got a lot of kids we need to get some experience. We've got kids that are going to need to get in and get their feet wet, but we also have a wealth of experience, as you mentioned, with 11 seniors of different varieties. We have 4th, 5th, and 6th year seniors. So, they're all in a little bit of different situation, but I think it's a luxury and it's a problem at the same time. If I had to pick a problem, this is the one I want. And so we spent a lot of time talking to them about the attitude and making sure that they understand, look, there's 6 spots every week. We're going to do our best to get everybody out there, but at the same time, we're not gonna do it at the expense of our scoring potential and those kinds of things.
No, and like you said, what you went through last year, right, being forged in that crucible, likely carries over to this season, at least, hopefully, and then mixed with a little bit of good luck. Who knows where this thing could end? Remember, this is an LSU program that we're talking about that has finished top 4 in attendance in the country for now 6 years in a row. The highest attendance in the SEC, an average of 12K per meet. Coach, talk to us about the showcase coming up this weekend. What all's going to be on display, and how's this work? So it's completely it's free, just first come first serve.
Yeah. So this is really the one time a year that we're able to get into the PMAC and kind of experience 80-foot ceilings and the TV lighting and the things that can affect your spatial awareness. And while I'd love to be in there more often, but this is the one time a year that we get to do it. So it's a practice. It's kind of a dress rehearsal for us as we get ready for the season to begin in January. And so what we did several years back was try to turn it into something that our fans could get involved with too, and as much as we can mimic the environment that's in the PMAC when we actually compete. And so we got a fan fest outside. There's a lot of activities for the kids. If you're not a season ticket holder, this is a great opportunity to get down low and get good seats and see what we do. It's also our one and only autograph opportunity for the year. We're going to do that at the conclusion, and that usually brings people out. And this year is the first year we've had it on a weekend where we can hope that we're able to get more people in the building. It's Saturday at 4 o'clock, and a lot of times we've had it on a Monday or Tuesday after finals, which is difficult when the kids are still in school. So it's a great experience for everybody that comes. You get a little bit of an explanation about what's going on and what to look for, and those kinds of things, and it gets our kids a chance to get their feet wet in that arena and get in front of the fans and interact with them a little bit.
So pack it out this Saturday, 4 o'clock. Coach, you mentioned season ticket holders. Is it personally? I know wins and losses are the thing that most matters in this profession, but is it personally fulfilling at all for the first time in school history sell out completely of the, like, you can still get single meet tickets right now, they're on sale, but season tickets sold out for the first time in school history?
Yeah, it is, because when I got here 12 years ago, that was a mission of mine, and we still haven't gotten there, but it was certainly something that I believed that this town could get behind, and that every time we open the doors to that building, it can be sold out. And we've gotten close to that, but we're not quite there yet. And I get concerned when we start talking sold out all the time. I think people sometimes that's the only two words they hear. We are sold out of the allotted season tickets.
Yes, just the season tickets. Yeah.
Yeah, the building is not sold out, and there's still about 3,000 good seats that people can get on an individual meet basis. If you want to, buy them for all 6 meets. I want every seat in that house to have a butt in it this year for the 6 meets that we have at home, because our environment, maybe more so than any other sport, and I truly believe that it creates a difference in a sport that's subjective in nature. It gives us a tremendous advantage to have 12,000 plus screaming purple and gold in that building, and our kids feed off of that. I know they do in every sport, but it's a tremendous advantage for us, and it's one that's unique to our conference. Our atmosphere is the best in the country, and I would argue it's the best in all of women's sports.
It's incredible, man. It really is. If you've never gone, it's so much fun. It's electric. It's like biting your nails. Coach, thank you so much. Again, 4 p.m. this Saturday, Gym 101. This is a team with a lot of expectation, a lot of potential, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Thank you so much for coming on this morning.
Thanks, guys, for having me. And how about that kid?
Yeah, how about it, dude? How about it, baby? Heisman winner. It was awesome, man, for sure. For sure. Coach Jay Clark, head coach of the LSU gymnastics program. That's a good time, man. If you're not doing anything this Saturday, 4 p.m., go check him out for sure. Take advantage. When we get back, more OTB, closing hour 2.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to K2Z Window Coverings, KTOZ Blinds.com. Oh, now we know why Jake stayed home. I think today's installation day. Stomach bug, my ace. He just wanted to get firsthand view of that K2Z process as they are taking his outdoor living space to the next level. And look, man, Brandon Barton has 25 years of experience in this game, right? His mom started this thing decades ago, and, she was kind of doing it small on the side. Brandon said, no, we're taking this to the next level. And so you are dealing with an expert with a wealth of experience. And so whether, look, if it's an outdoor living space, a movie room, office, baby room, whatever, you're looking like for functionality upgrades, aesthetic upgrades, you get it all at K2Z with the best. Go to KTOZBlinds.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Thank you you, Acadiana, for over 56 years of allowing Corval Toyota in Opelousas to take care of you and your automotive needs. Enjoy this holiday season with family and friends. From the Corval Toyota family to yours, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch, Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
I've been doing business with Luber for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on new 23 Jeep Grand Cherokee, $10,000 off new Jeep Grand Cherokee, and all new Bayou Automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Elevate brand visibility, ignite customer engagement with the power of radio and digital advertising combined. Guarantee Digital Media brings the two together as a trusted media partner in Louisiana for nearly a century. Claim your free digital audit at guaranteemedia.com.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of.
It's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Signing day, a little more than a week away. We'll visit with Shea Dixon, and Sean Salisbury stops by 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Sorry we're going to be very short here. Wanted to talk to Coach Jake Clark there about this Saturday, 4 p.m. If you're not going to the Nutcracker on Saturday, which those tickets are already sold out at 2 and 6, go to this. It's going to be a ton of fun. I'm going to hope to bring the fam out there. Be a very good time. Like I said, too, I know a lot of y'all are probably fans of maybe like Livy Dunn or some of the other members of this team. And like you said, autograph opportunities. You're going to go check out that. It just seems like a great time. Saturday, 4 p.m., Gym 101. Let's go, dude. We got Nick Underhill coming up at 9 a.m., breaking down the black and gold after the unwatchable mess that was Sunday's game. I'm very excited to break that down with him. And there's Scott Dice in the chat. I saw Philip Rivers and his wife had kid number 10. Congratulations. Jake, where you at, dog? Where you at? 5? Come on, man.
Sarah discovered Antonio Cromartie the other day. 14 kids with 8 different women.
Legend.
Insane.
We still have to talk about and didn't he get a vasectomy as well?
Yeah, it failed.
And he still just keeps having kids? Dang, that's
so much. Could have like
it's a fertile man.
An entire like baseball or basketball team, like rotational pieces and everything.
Is there any
Just his
word
kids.
on like
Their baby mamas could be a team.
Is there any word on like financially how he's handling all of this? Like, do we know? Because it feels like that would be public knowledge at this point.
It's got to be similar to Nick Cannon, though, I would imagine.
Well, but Nick Cannon's got money.
I get it, but
you know
like
what I'm
a
saying?
similar allotment, like, you know.
I'm just saying, like, is Cromartie, did he handle his business? Is he able to, like, support all of this? Because, like, Cannon's got crazy money.
He's got to have some kind of income coming in because there's no way.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, hour 3 coming up next.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to RejuveMeMedical.com, restore me, refuel me, rejuva me. You go to Rejuve Me today, and look, if you want to feel better, you want to fight the aging process, I don't care if you're male, female, 20, 30, 40, 50. It happens to us all at different places or different paces. But look, my needs are not your needs, right? My body isn't yours. I don't know what's going on in your body. You don't either. And so you go to Rejuve Me, you get that free consultation, you get your labs drawn, and then you get your results, and they go over them with you. And let you know, okay, here's where you're strong, here's where you're deficient, and here's what we're going to do to fix said deficiencies. So, and look, maybe it's stuff like HRT, or to your HRT experts. Maybe it's something like semaglutide. Maybe it's just B vitamin shots, right? Like there's a plethora of different services offered to fight facial aging, menopause, all of it. So go and get that consultation and then get a customized plan to get you to be in your best youthful self and where you want to be. Rejuve Me Medical.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Good morning, everybody. It is 9 a.m. on Tuesday, December 12th. Coming up on OTBOT, we talked to Nick Underhill of New Orleans.Saints. Coming up, New Orleans.Football, coming up next. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number 3 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome back. Hour number 3 of OTB. Right now, let's talk to New Orleans.Football's Nick Underhill. Talking black and gold as the Saints snap the losing streak and managed to create, while snapping said streak, a masterpiece of bad, Nick. We talked about it yesterday, and it was a fascinating game in that both teams were awful, yet they still managed to make the game unexciting even from a competitive standpoint, right? So, like, they did the doubly bad thing of 3.5 quarters of putrid, unwatchable football, and right when you're like, okay, finally now maybe we'll have some high stakes at least, well, then the Saints, granted, good, they score, they win, but then the Saints go and score a couple touchdowns. It's not even an exciting finish. That was something on Sunday. You have now reviewed the film, Nick. Post-film review, has any of your initial feelings changed from when you exited that stadium on Sunday?
Not really. I mean, man, it was awful. It was one of the worst games I've ever seen. Like, honestly, like just from you said it, from a competitive standpoint, this wasn't like a defensive battle. It was just like a battle of ass. Like, it was just it was horrible, man. Like, there was nothing redeeming about it. And that offensive performance was anemic at best. I mean, Derek Carr had 37 yards like through 50 minutes passing, and then he hits the 40-some yarder to A.T. Perry, opens it up, and then credit to him. Like, I thought he had a good red zone drive there. Jimmy Graham, Chris Olave slant, and then going back to Graham again on the next one. So there were a couple decent things within this, but I mean, this was a horrible game. And if you're Carolina, the thing that's a little bit worrying for them is I don't know that you really see anything with Bryce Young at this point. Like, usually you see a little bit of something. We've watched him. We watched him go out there and just kind of struggle through the whole entire game. I almost wonder if he can't see beyond his offensive line. I don't know if he's able to see over him. Like, it almost felt like a quarterback throwing blind a little bit in some of these spots, and it was a little bit shocking to kind of just see how rough things are looking for them. The bad thing about the Saints, though, is they're going to win games like this, and we got the NFC South finish down the stretch. They got the Giants too. They should be able to beat them. There's a little bit of something going with DeVito, so maybe not. We'll see. But there's a lot of winnable games, and the thing I kind of hate about this is that I think it's going to probably go into that last weekend, and they're probably still going to have a chance. And man, this is not a playoff team. Like, it's insulting to eyes and logic to kind of be looking at them and say, oh, the Saints are tied for first place. Like, this is not a first place football team. This is the team that should be, on the brink, making plans for the future. And instead they're like fighting for this kind of like very hollow thing. And it sucks that it's here. I'm not excited about the end of the season at all. Like, I'm just kind of ready for it to be over with and for them to try to figure out how it's going to get better next year.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it does suck from the perspective of if you win the division, you get slotted, right? Like, it doesn't go by your record. So, yeah, you could significantly hurt your draft. Okay, so what about this hypothetical, though? Is it worth it if you win the division and then you beastquake the Cowboys, right? Like, you 7-9, they have to come to your house and you end up somehow winning that game. Then the next week it all shatters and ends because, of course, it does. But would something like that make it worth it, do you think?
Look, if they can make it fun, cool. Like, I'm with it.
Okay.
Like, if you can make these games enjoyable to watch, if
that's
you can
fair.
Get hot, you can make it fun. Then it is all worth it. If you can get another playoff game and you're competitive, you win it. Like, it's absolutely worth it, because the fact of the matter is kind of looking at the situation. When's the next time there's going to be a home playoff game? So in that sense, like, I respect it, but it just doesn't feel like it's going to be like, as you look at it right now, it's hard to look at it and say this is a worthwhile endeavor. And that's kind of where we're at. Like, if you can make it worthwhile philosophically, I'm almost always
Fair.
for like, try to make the playoffs, be competitive, try to win those games. But as you look at it right now, it's just kind of like, they aren't very good. They're going to maybe back their way into this, and they aren't good enough to kind of compete with anybody that's any good right now. And from that aspect, it's kind of hard to understand. And just, the other thing is, it's just like, it's not a likable like group right now. It's just kind of not.
No.
And there's just not a lot of redeeming qualities about them. And this might have been the first time I was watching a game, and like, you're at like halftime, and it's like, man, like, I don't feel like watching the rest of this. Like, that's kind of how that game went. And it was just there. And that's where the Saints kind of exist right now. Like, if you make the playoffs and you're fun, there's some explosiveness, there's some things to hold on to. Like, right now, it's kind of like, you got Alvin Kamara, like, and he's fun to watch, but like, what else is there beyond that? And there isn't a whole lot. So
Demario Davis rushing the passer. That's my other one that is fun to watch. That sack at the end where he pulled the werewolf, like running on the hands leap over the cut block was awesome. But that's about it.
And it was good to see them get back to that. He was a great pass rusher in 2020, and then Caden Ellis kind of took that a little bit, and they shifted it. And DeMario's obviously still really, really good at that. And like, that is a spot where you kind of see like his vision come together. And I like their pass rush playing in this game a whole lot more. Like, DeMario had, I think, 3 quarterback hits, sack and a half. You got a sack from Jordan Howden. Like, so they were bringing blitz from other places, which is what they were doing when they were good. Zach Bond got involved in it a little bit. It was good to see him kind of find a place where he can contribute. That's something that I think he could potentially be solid at some point. Just third down speed rusher. So that was good to see too. Yeah, there are a couple things like that are working, but overall, like, this looks like a broken team that just barely squeaked by against a 1-1 Carolina team. And it's kind of weird to say that 28-6, but that game wasn't that close, and it felt in peril for like, most of the game.
Yes.
So
the score, it's a classic score, not representative of how the game actually went for the most part. To me, as a consumer, right, we always talk about this. The ultimate power you have is kind of voting with your wallet. But it's tough to do because generally, like, it's okay. Like, I'm very upset at how the college football playoff scenario played out, right? I think it's BS completely that Florida State got left out. It makes me want to boycott the playoff, but of course I'm not actually going to boycott the playoff, right? I want to watch Alabama versus Michigan. Like, that sounds awesome. But I'm angry. So I'm an addict, right? So they know they have me. But when you look at the Superdome on Sunday, sure looked like to me that a lot of people feel like they got better things to do on a Sunday than go watch that crap. And, like, is that the ultimate thing that pushes these decisions across the finish line for Mickey Loomis when all of a sudden the mystique of the Superdome is taken away and you're looking at thousands of empty seats?
Yeah. I've heard from people, inside that Lions game, which is kind of how that lower bowl was. That was something that kind of scared people a little bit, and they're looking at it and they're like, wow, like that was eye-opening. And then again, this week, the empty seats, like, yeah, I think those are things that you have to take into consideration. Now, like, if you start winning, you make the playoffs and all that, like, I think those people start coming back. But where it's at right now, absolutely. And I mean, you have to take that into consideration because, it's a business at a certain point. And if nobody is happy with the business, people aren't patronizing the business, and your product isn't good enough, like, you have to make changes to at least create excitement behind your product. So there is a practicality to it at a certain point. And, it's just rough right now. Like, people are not happy with this team. They don't like the quarterback. Like, there's just a lot of things that are just kind of off-putting about them right now. And, I think they got to get a grip on some of that stuff and be serious about it. And, there's just they're aware though. Like, there are little things happening there that it's very clear that there's an awareness to this. Like, the last 2 games, they don't announce Dennis Allen anymore after they do the player intros because, like, they know. So, like, they're
people are going to boo.
Yes, absolutely. There are little subtle things happening that where there is an awareness to some of the stuff that's going on. They were playing, the Jimmy Buffett song, and that was supposed to be like a new tradition. Like, that went away very quietly too. Like, there is an admission of kind of like, all right, like, things aren't good. But yeah, if that keeps happening, that season ticket list, people aren't renewing. Like, that's the thing that's going to happen, and they have to be aware of it. And absolutely. Coming into the season, I heard that they hired more ticket salespeople because in anticipation of like needing to push. So that isn't a place they want to get to. And I think that, yeah, if things are bad and people aren't showing up, you got to do something. Like, people are going to tell you what to do. And if you aren't making money, like, it's not working. And money ultimately would be the thing that dictates the decision, I think.
Well, and it's like, I can't pretend to understand the finances enough to know, like, how damning are bad ticket sales or whatnot. But I think there's even an extra level of brand damage that's going on right now that's way more scarring than whatever the kind of short-term fiscal losses from a lack of or from declining ticket sales.
One other thing too, like their lease situation, you don't want to get too bad and lose all your leverage and you have an empty stadium. And then, when you need to renegotiate that lease, like that's not a place you want to be either. So I think there's some pressure on this from multiple points where, the money is involved. So yeah, I think that you lose your leverage going into those negotiations, a few years from now. I think it's a tough place to be.
Speaking of kind of re-injecting everything with excitement, this is something my old man just keeps calling me and talking to me about. But he is really hooked on getting Jaden Daniels to the New Orleans Saints. And it's fun to start to think about, right? LSU Heisman winner, yada, yada, yada. But, like, if it actually works, if it could somehow happen, I mean, I lived through Michael Vick in Atlanta. I saw what a phenom that was. It would feel like the potential of Jaden in New Orleans as a successful quarterback. Like that alone, Nick, if he ended up being good, would feel as if you could be entering like a new golden age, like a new long-term stable or at least like hopeful sort of age. It would feel like finally the door kind of closed on the Peyton Breeze era and a new one was beginning. Does any of that at all feel realistic to you at this point? Or there's just too many what-ifs in play?
I think you're going to end up winning too many games. I really think they're going to end up winning too many games for that to happen. And that's why, man. Like, I wish they wouldn't, but you aren't going to tank. Like, Dennis Allen wants to save his job. Derek Carr wants to keep his job. Like, there's not going to be a tanking happening here. And it's unfortunate. Like, they want to make the playoffs. Mickey Loomis wants to make the playoffs. Like, so organizationally, that's where they're kind of headed with it. And that's why it's a little bit frustrating, because I do think you're at this like interesting crossroads right now where if you're practical about it, where you're at, and you kind of take a real look at it, and there's a real stock to it, like, you need a lot of stuff. You need a lot of stuff. And you traded most of the middle of your draft away. So you need to get high impact players early on. And, let's look at the positions they need. They need a cornerback or a quarterback. They need pass rushers. They need a left tackle, because Trevor Penning isn't even in the jumbo package anymore.
Not even in the jumbo. So, what the hell's going on, dude?
So those are, those 3 out of the top 4 positions you need are the most high value positions in the draft. So if you aren't drafting top 10, top 12, you're not addressing those needs. You aren't going to get players that are highly impactful. So you're going to take yourself out of this. You're probably going to be, last week into the season fighting for a playoff spot, and you're going to be just right outside of that bubble where you can kind of address this. And, if someone falls, it is then a Penning or a Mac Jones type. And those are bigger gambles. And it's just hard to get the logic around it. And I'm saying this as someone who has, philosophically been opposed to everyone that's always said, like, just, throughout the season, don't worry about it.
Yeah, me too. I've always been opposed there, but they've kind of broken me on that.
Yeah, there's a reality to it now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you see it now, and it's just kind of like, this doesn't make sense. Why are you doing this? Why are you fighting for it? And then, there's stuff behind the scenes too that I don't think is great. Like, I think the locker room, there's corners of that locker room where it started to turn. I mean, it's just the truth. So it just feels like this is like in a slow fracture. Again, if you get hot and you win a bunch of games, all that stuff kind of cures itself. Like, I've heard from players before that were like all the way out, and then 2017 happens and they're bought back in, and they're the most vocal rah guys. So stuff does change, but I just don't see the reality here where suddenly, like, you get this whole new, like, great third act of the season. Like, I don't think it's in the cards. So it's just kind of like, does it make sense?
They're definitely not trending that direction. I mean, we had the quote from Alvin Kamara a couple weeks ago where he basically said, like, that he felt like the players are starting to, I mean, to me, I read between the 2 lines, I felt that he was saying that the players and the coaches were starting to get disconnected. between the subtweeting of Michael Thomas, McCoy and Carr arguing, are there starting to be fractures, do you think, among the players now?
Like players between players or
Yes.
players and coaches?
Players between players. I think Alvin Kamara was already to me, his quote from a couple weeks ago already spoke to maybe some player and coaches fractures, but now, but he was very clear, it's not amongst those players. Do you think now those player-to-player cracks are beginning to show?
Well, I mean, we don't even have to look under the curtain, right? Like it's right there on the it's on the broadcast.
Yeah.
Like you're looking at it. It's happened twice now with players, once with the coach. Like I think there's a clear, I mean, the JT O'Sullivan video just showed all this stuff receivers, kind of showing up Carr when they weren't getting the ball. So I mean, it's on film, man. Like it isn't anything that needs sources and reporting. Like it's on film. Like there are people, throughout that just, like, there's something off. Like the way these guys are relating with Derek Carr, there's something off. And he downplayed it after the game and everything. But like, I think it's a big deal. Like, I think it's a big deal to have your center, like, having to be held back from going after you. Yeah. And again, like the offensive line, they screwed up that play. But like, get to the sideline and do it. Like, at least then if the cameras catch you on the sideline chewing somebody out, at least like you're trying to have a modicum of respect for those people instead of showing them up on the field after you already did this once and got caught for it, and it was a big deal. It's just, it's rough, man. Like I think that there's definitely something off with the way those interactions are, and it just goes back to the accountability factor. And you saw two polar opposites of how that was handled after the game. Eric McCoy's in the locker room, head down, embarrassed. Man, I'm sorry, this isn't me. It's out of character. Shouldn't have happened. Da da da. And then there was almost like, yeah, Derek Carr said, like, we were both right, we were both wrong. But then there was almost a defiance to how he spoke about it. And then there was like an extreme defiance with how Dennis Allen answered questions about it, which was just weird to me, man. Like there's this, it isn't like just a thing the media is saying about the accountability. Like we talk about the accountability so much because other people are talking to us about the lack of accountability. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, this is a problem. Like, and then you just see it again up there. And I don't understand why there is such a strong effort to make sure that like no one ever says Derek's doing anything bad or Derek ever saying he's doing anything bad.
It's
and
crazy.
I think like if this thing falls apart and it shatters, that's going to be that relationship and the way it's carrying out is going to be one of the core breaking points. And you see the way that Sean Payton has gotten Russell Wilson to play, and his numbers are way down, 200 yards a game, whatever. But like he's effective, he's efficient, and he's locked in doing what he needs to do. And it's because Sean held him accountable. He didn't let him get away with anything. Like every single thing was driven on. And I think we kind of see the opposite of that here. And maybe it's different behind the scenes. I've heard it isn't, but maybe it is. But yeah, I think that's a problem. Like I think for Derek Carr to play his best, like I think someone has to be holding him accountable for everything. And I think that's why Gruden got the best out of him. And I don't think they're going to get the best out of him until somebody does that.
Yeah, I guess they are kind of trying to piss on us and tell us it's raining a bit. Hey, let me see that mug before you go, Nick. That we just got a little glance of. Let me see that thing.
I'm at. Yeah,
wow! What?
Yeah. I got the Jason, man. I had to bring out the Halloween one. Yeah.
Oh my God, scary
got
times.
Got the Halloween mug in December. Yeah, coming up on Christmas. Not probably not appropriate, but my voice was running out and I had to flash it. Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, Nick. Well, thank you so much, man. New Orleans on Football is a site. Go sign up for New Orleans on Football. Him, Mike Triplett, Brett Kirkhoff, the entire team. They do excellent work, y'all. Video, audio, writing. It is the site if you want to stay up to date with the Saints. I'm a proud subscriber for multiple years now. Thank you so much, man. You take it easy.
Yeah, you too, man.
New Orleans on Football, Nick Underhill. Nick_Underhill on Twitter. Go check it out. Does not sound good. Does not sound good. Again, Nick's kind of like me in that always been like always try to win, always try to do this. And it sounds like even he's been kind of broken by this current New Orleans Saints team.
Yeah, for Nick to say, like, I'm looking forward to next season, I hope it gets better, and his model is, based on subscriptions from Saints fans.
Yeah.
They're hoping the Saints does well, which, I really respect, but that speaks volumes.
It's bad. So. All right, when we get back, more Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Get Gordon and get it done. 225-888-8888. You get in an accident. You don't need to be afraid those big insurance companies, right? Because you're going to have someone who's going to fight for you and somebody who's been fighting for you for a long time. That's Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Look, it's the first thing you need to do. 888-8888. Get the team getting you what you deserve. You can go follow them on social media at GetGordon, where not only are there great videos about tips and tricks about what immediately to do after an accident, how do you conduct yourself, how do you handle yourself to make sure that you get your best results possible, but also great content with a lot of your favorite athletes, right? As Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys have the G team, the entire women's basketball team on there. You got gymnasts, football players, everybody. And, they got sit-downs in the Grubbing with G series and great other content where you can really start to get into the minds of some of your favorite athletes. So go follow them on social media at GetGordon. Get Gordon. Get it done today.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
His name was Cain. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
It was a humid day. Barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Henniger joined me and Jimmy Ott for the Tuesday edition of Live at Lunch. We're at Mike Anderson Seafood, Wesley at Nicholson. Andy Iskoe will be among our guests. Live at Lunch, 11 a.m. weekdays on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome back off the bench. Hope you're having a great day. Mario, you were looking up coaches that have made the playoffs and been fired. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, so since 2001, I guess, 3 NFL coaches have been fired despite making the playoffs.
Mhm.
Tony Dungy in 2001, he went
Which makes sense because that was a Buccaneers team that was very, very good but couldn't break through in the playoffs. They fired him and then traded for John Gruden. Of course, Dungy ends up going to Indy, and he finally does get that Super Bowl. So happy endings for all in that scenario.
Yes, and then Marty Schottenheimer, I guess a similar thing last season in 2006. They go 14-2. They were the number 1 seed in the conference, but he was bad in the playoffs, so they let him go. And then most recently, one that a lot of people don't remember was Mike Mularkey with the Titans in 2017. They drafted Mariota. He was actually playing pretty well there for a couple of seasons when he first came into the league. They beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead. Alex Smith led Chiefs, not Patrick Mahomes. But then he still got fired despite making the playoffs and even winning a playoff game on the road. So I'm thinking in my head, the situation with the Saints doesn't look good. The division's really weak. Is there a world where the Saints break through, win the NFC South, but still look really bad and, still have to maybe make a tough decision? There is a precedent for it. Not a lot, 3 since 2000, but there is at least a precedent for it. So I was just curious about that.
No, that's interesting because it probably, I'm trying to look up. Okay, so Mularkey was, it looks like 9-7 and 9-7 in his 2 years. Yeah, come on. What are we talking about then? How did Dennis possibly survive?
Exactly.
How did Dennis possibly survive?
Yeah, I'm looking at Mularkey, 20-21 in 41 games, so that's much better than Dennis Allen.
Yeah, and if you go like 8-9 or and win the division at 8-9, you're then 7-10 and 8-9 over 2 years. It's not good. It's not good enough to get retained. You heard Nick there. It does seem like the ticket sales, the empty crowd, ultimately that will be that'll be one of the main driving factors behind likely making some sort of change happen.
It's hurting the bottom line, like sponsors and stuff, may not want to be affiliated if you keep doing what you're doing. Ironic, Dennis Allen saying, and it's not working.
Did y'all see, and I want to talk Pelicans here in a little bit, but did y'all see the Shohei Ohtani contract, how this is going to work out? So we all know that he signed the 10-year, $700 million deal. However, he is deferring 68 of the $70 million every single year. So in terms of pure salary, he will only be making $2 million a year. We'll get into some other numbers. But what that means is that those other payments at $68 million a year is getting deferred to be paid between 2034 and 2043. So we talk about Happy Bobby Bonilla Day, right? Where he has probably the most famous deferred payment situation of anybody that we know. Now, interestingly on that, and I don't know what so Bonilla though deferred, what was it, like a few million?
Yeah, it was $1 million every year for
No, I know, but what I'm saying is his original lump sum that he deferred though was way less than what he's actually going to end up getting paid over the course of that whole deferment. Like the interest on it was insane. I don't know if you would call it interest, but to get him to agree to it, the total amount of money Bonilla makes is way more, right? Well, what that means is Shohei Ohtani, 2034, starting in 2034, for 10 years, he will at least make $68 million a year. And if it's like the Bonilla deal, he'll probably be making even more per year as they've pushed off that money. So he will be done playing, likely, or getting close to being done playing, and then will be entering a phase of life where he'll get paid $70 million. And look, he can afford all of this also because right now he apparently makes $45 million in endorsements alone each year. So Shohei Ohtani setting himself up for when he's done playing a financial, or it's just an insane contract, and it allows the team to avoid things like the luxury tax. I don't understand all of the tax breaks exactly, but they get some luxury tax relief. It obviously frees up just raw cash here in the short term to sign other players. And Look, Shohei Ohtani's been a part of an Angels organization that's just been awful his entire career. He wants to win. That's the main thing, win a World Series, and this helps with that. And he gets paid. It's just a win all the way around, and it's just really smart financially for Ohtani. I do wonder, like, if you're the Dodgers, though, and same thing with the Mets, like, what is the idea here? That's just that it's, like why is that money so much more palatable to pay in a decade for somebody who's not playing for you than it is to pay right now? Like, will you not run into issues then? Does it not count against the cap in a decade? Or not, I mean, count towards the luxury tax in a decade? Or are you just counting on, like, inflation to lessen the blow? Or does it grow, relative to inflation? Kind of like Bonilla. I don't know. But still, pretty insane. Deferring 68 of his $70 million annually, and that $680 million will then be doled out between 2034 and 2043.
Well, I was reading something, and everybody was like, oh, well, this is going to be such a big cap hit for the Dodgers. At $2 million a year, he's going to have the same cap hit for, like, an average middle relief pitcher.
Wait, what were you saying?
Like, he's going to have basically the same cap hit for, like, an
Yes.
average middle relief pitcher.
Yes, but what I'm wondering is, like, okay, but when they're paying him in a decade, if he's not on the team, do those deferred payments still count against the cap at that point?
I don't know.
Or
if
is
he's
this
not-
just
if
like
he's-
a get-out-of-jail-free card for cap if you can get somebody to
Because
agree?
if he's not on the team, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it ever counted against with Bonilla, like the cap, because he wasn't on the team, right?
Okay, that's true. Yeah, I think
he's
you're
technically
correct.
he's
I don't know
technically
for
not
sure.
like on player payroll or whatever it is.
Well, then is this just like a new hack then that everybody's going to do then? I mean, it would certainly feel like that would maybe be the case because, like, also as a player, wouldn't it feel great to make – now, granted, not everybody's got the $45 million coming in endorsements, right? So maybe that's the difference. But, like, wouldn't it feel great to know that, okay, I'm going to get done playing, but that money train's not just going to stop. In fact, it's going to continue. Like, it feels like kind of the ideal way to want to handle some of these contracts. So, good on him. Shohei Ohtani. It's crazy. If I had a rooting interest, I'd probably be mad that the Dodgers added him. But I'm excited to I don't know, maybe get to see him in like playoff baseball, like high leverage baseball. That'll be fun to watch. All right, when we get back, more off the bench, talking a little Pelés. Keep it locked. OTB.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Community Steel Company, CommunitySteelCo.com, CommunitySteelCo.com. You go there today, and look, you go to the website. It's a beautiful new website. And look, Community Steel, a beautiful new local business. And if you have any steel needs, I don't care if it's for business or just personal use, you can go check them out in Gonzales today. Okay, meet with the live and local sales team, right? This is not like some of the national companies where you're dealing with answering machines, you're dealing with email forms. Like, no. There's actual human beings, boots on the ground that you go talk with, you interact with, you form relationships with. They understand your business. They work for your business. The human touch. I feel like the older I get, the more disconnected you get when you run into a business that is local, that has that human curated element. It's just irreplaceable, and that's Community Steel. But what is it without great prices? And that's the other thing, right? Because it's not national, they buy directly from the steel wholesalers. They make everything on site in Gonzales. There's no middlemen jacking up the prices. Best people, best prices, Community Steel.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Thank you, Acadiana, for over 56 years of allowing Corval Toyota in Opelousas to take care of you and your automotive needs. Enjoy this holiday season with family and friends. From the Corval Toyota family to yours, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The interior of an Infiniti is thoughtfully designed to be all about you. And by you, we mean every version of you. Because there's luxury you can feel, and there's luxury that lets you feel. Infinitely you. Experience luxury like never before with Infiniti Premium Care, included with the 2023 QX80 at your local retailer.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com.
Join me for a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Glenn West on the Tigers, Sharif Ishak on the Saints, and Cody Worsham on the weekend in NYC. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring. Snowing and blowing up bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back. Oh, TB. Hope everybody's having a wonderful, cold Christmas morning. Hope everybody's feeling good out there. I've heard word on the street is the stomach bugs running around like crazy. We're about to talk to Melanie Hebert from the Baton Rouge Ballet, and she's supposed to come in studio today. Her kids have some. Jake's out with a stomach bug today, so everybody stay safe out there. Look, if you get a bug or a cold or anything like that, though, remember to go over to Patient Plus Urgent Care. PatientPlusUC.com is the website. If you go to the website right there at the top, you can start to explore maybe the Patient Plus membership, which is a great deal. You can pay for a lump sum for a year. You can pay monthly, and if you go twice in a calendar year, you go out ahead, and you get unlimited visits, right? So any colds, flus, COVIDs, anything like that, any steroid shots, any testing, it's all there for you at Patient Plus Urgent Care, PatientPlusUC.com. And if you're looking online right now, or if you've ever been to one, you see the facilities, they're gonna blow you away, y'all. The quality of the rooms, of the technology being employed, just the privacy of the rooms, the space. It's they're the best in the game. It's why they're exploding. They're opening up everywhere. Patient Plus Urgent Care, PatientPlusUC.com. Do you have Melly? Yo, Melly, what's going on? How are we feeling this morning? How is life on the stomach bug riddled home front going?
Of course, you know you would call that out on your show. Keeping it real, T-Bob. I love it. It's something's going around, but it's all good because it's radio, and I did not want a chance coming in next to you and harming your opportunity to get out on stage in front of thousands of people and play the Party Dad and the beloved Nutcracker at Tale from the Bayou this weekend.
Yes, I cannot wait again. So that is going down this weekend, Saturday 2 and 6 p.m., Sunday 2 and 6 as well. I think there's a couple tickets up for Sunday at 2. There's many spots available for Sunday at 6 if you want to go ahead and get those. Melanie, where can people go purchase those tickets?
So I'm so glad you asked because people are getting scammed. Do not go to third-party vendors. They're
Okay.
paying hundreds of dollars for the tickets. The tickets are only $30 to $90 a piece, and you want to get them by going to BatonRougeBallet.org, or you can go directly through Ticketmaster or the River Center box office. That's it. If you just Google Nutcracker Tale from the Bayou or Nutcracker or anything, you're going to find all these unauthorized dealers' websites pop up. And people are calling the ballet office crying, and we can't do anything about it by that point. So we really want to get the word out, only go to those authorized vendors. And, yeah, the matinees are almost sold out, T-Bob. They look great. I mean, there's just a few individual tickets sporadically, scattered in the theater open.
So go ahead. It's a great way to kick off the Christmas week. The vibes are going to be immaculate. If you've never seen it before, it's legendary, amazing, custom choreography made, what now, but for over 30 years right here in Baton Rouge. And Melanie, I believe if you want to get Baton Rouge Ballet Theater season tickets, when's the last day you were texting?
Today is the last day for season ticket opportunity. So what a great holiday gift. Instead of just getting the Nutcracker for December, you could also see Pilobolus, which we're bringing to Baton Rouge. It's a professional company from New York. We've partnered with the Manship Theater at Shaw Center for the Performing Arts to bring them back by popular demand. They were fantastic last year. That's March 10th. And then Cinderella, which is our own choreography by Sharon Matthews, that will be at the River Center Theater again in April. So if you plan all this in advance, I know you have a lot of sports guys listening and want to make wives happy. Maybe some wives want to make the husbands happy. Like, you have a deep appreciation for the arts, and I love that so much, and I love that you share that with your listeners, and then they can diversify their interests and what they offer to their families, because it's not just about the sports. But as you and I talked about, a lot of sports guys, a lot of athletes actually take ballet.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot to be said for that. But anyway, the season tickets are $175 for all three of those shows. So that's a great package deal if you plan in advance. And then you can get that for your family, for your kids, your date, whatever.
Yes.
And that deadline is today.
So if you want season tickets, go to BatonRougeBallet.org. You can explore it there. Again, come out this Sunday and Saturday to watch the Nutcracker, A Tale from the Bayou. It's fantastic. Obviously, I've been watching behind the scenes. I cannot wait. I'm ecstatic. It's going to be awesome. Melanie, thank you so much, and best of luck, on whatever your day holds for you.
Oh, we're so excited to see you perform this weekend, T-Bob. Everybody loves having you as a part of the cast. Thank you.
It's very kind. Thank you very much. It's BatonRougeBallet.org. Boys, you all coming out on Sunday?
Sunday, not going to be able to make it. Saints game.
Wow. Unbelievable.
So.
Unbelievable.
I was planning on going.
Yeah.
My wife's older sister has a play the same night.
What?
Yeah.
What?
The Happy Elf or something like that. So
okay, well, that's a good thing then that you can buy tickets for the 2 p.m. show.
2 p.m., okay.
Yes. Because as you know, like we said, some spots still available for 2 p.m. And then you can go see the Happy Elf, and you can just really double down on your Christmas theater for the day. Geez, who would have guessed you would have a rival theatrical production vying for your time on the day we'll be doing Nutcracker. It's going to be fantastic. I'm as excited to watch the show as everybody else is as well, as they only get to practice the party scene, so I haven't seen the rest of it. All right, coming up next, let's do a little extended Ask the Bench for once. Keep it locked right here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to allstartoyotabatonrouge.com, allstartoyotabatonrouge.com, All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge. I love All-Star Toyota. I now have 2 minivans from All-Star Toyota. They're incredible. That new Sienna, dude, the gas mileage on these new hybrids that they're making are absurd. Like I said, it just drove the whole family to Orlando, and, 3 kids under 5, all the bags and crap that entails. The Sienna handled it beautifully, and probably spent about $80 on gas each way. A flight was $1,600. Are you kidding me? And I had the added luxury of not having to worry about tagging bags, packing 2 shrewdly, right? You could bring all the stuff you got back. It's just incredible. But it's not just the Sienna. It's the Tundra, whatever you need, the Camry, the RAV4, the Highlander, Sequoia if you want a big SUV. It's all there for you. The best price Toyota-thon going on now at All-Star Toyota. Go to allstartoyotabatonrouge.com.
Our listeners fire up their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Life in Louisiana is like a run-on sentence. A poem that doesn't rhyme. Life is here, now. For life's moments, big and small, always there. The right card, the right care.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Would a couple that just came from a couples massage have any use for the massage seats of the Infiniti QX60? Yes, it appears they would. With driver and passenger massage seats, mute all your notifications and feel infinitely you.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Signing day, a little more than a week away. We'll visit with Shay Dixon, and Sean Salisbury stops by 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Welcome back. Riley Leonard going to Notre Dame officially. We already knew it last week. It is now official. But Texas A&M fans, been a rough go since the Elko hire, as maybe they thought they were getting Leonard. That didn't happen. Though, again, I'm not like 1,000% sure on how excited you should be about Leonard. Like, he's really, really good, really solid, but he's not maybe a Well, I think it remains to be seen how much of a game changer he
needs work as a
is.
passer.
Yeah.
He's a really good runner, really good athlete. I mean, they talked
Yeah.
about it when it was game day at Duke, like he originally thought he was going to be a Duke basketball player. He actually hasn't played football that long. So, yeah, he's talented. He's not a finished product, though.
But that is now official. Just happened a minute ago. So, Notre Dame, they said, screw it, you know? Like, instead of trying to develop a quarterback, we're Notre Dame. We got money. Let's just go ahead and keep signing these free agent quarterbacks, seeing if it works out. Which, again, did Sam Hartman work out?
Not really. I guess not. They're
He
still.
did against Navy week 1. He was really good against Navy week 1.
Well, and it's
Ireland.
like he played well enough. He should have beaten Ohio State.
Yeah.
If they hadn't screwed up that game at the end, like, I don't know. It's a mixed bag on Hartman. I think Notre Dame fans seem happy,
that was the game they only had 10 guys on 3rd and 4th and goal, right?
Yeah. And they ran it directly where the D lineman would have been, and they barely got it. So they would have stopped them. All right, Ask the Bench brought to you by Cold Curse Light, Vizzy Hard Seltzer, and Blue Moon Light Sky Citrus Sweet. Ask the Bench, did T-Bob get his part in the Nutcracker because of nepotism? No, for once. I don't think it had anything to do with my father. I think it had everything to do with me constantly over years and years and years saying I really want to be in the Nutcracker one day. And somebody, heard it and hooked it up. Ask the Bench. So when you start seeing coaches' salaries go down due to NIL, so when do you start seeing coaches' salaries go down due to NIL and the importance of the players? I get what you're saying, right? You're saying, like, wait, why are we committing so much resource to the coaches when we can put these resources into paying players? Unfortunately, it feels like a toothpaste in the tube situation. Like, you very rarely see, like, let's say if LSU suddenly wanted to pay Brian Kelly less than $10 million, like, somebody would probably pay Brian Kelly $10 million a year, right? So, or smart, like whoever. So I don't know that you will see coach salaries going down. Now, that said, it is insane to me that a school like Indiana would rather pay Tom Allen $20 million not to work than to just commit all that resources to just paying players for Tom Allen. I do not understand that.
Between Tom and Tim, that family's got a lot of money.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right? They have to be related. I mean, Tom and Tim.
T-Web knows how cringe this is? What, the Nutcracker? Nutcracker's not cringe. It's awesome, dude. Ask the Bench. Would you rather go to Nutcracker or have your nuts cracked in a Nutcracker? I mean, probably just go to the play.
Yeah. There's probably not many things.
It's great
that I would choose
If
the
you've never
second
been.
option over.
Yeah, I mean, if you've never been to, it's like a Baton Rouge tradition. It's like I said, it's an original production. It's fantastic. It really sets the Christmas mood. Like if you were trying to really inject Christmas into your veins, this does that. Does T-Web's Wild Man hairdo play a role in Nutcracker? Nope. Getting it cut up tomorrow. Ask chat. Is there any more proof? Okay, no. Ask the Bench. Did you steal this dream being the Nutcracker from The Rock in the game plan? Nope. It was a dream from when I went and saw it on a class field trip at the Fox Theater in Atlanta when I was probably in like second, third grade. And I just remember having the most intense daydreams of my life. Still remember it. Looking out the bus window, not talking to anyone, and just thinking about being on that stage. So that's where it started. Ask the Bench. I want to buy a defensive back from down here in Corpus. That sounds problematic, but I get what you're saying. And make him play for LSU. How do I make that happen? I don't know. Ask the Bench, how deep is Joey Hester's shame today that his son couldn't answer the bell? Will he insist that Jake change his last name? So the thing about Jake will be toxic to himself when it comes to try to working through stuff like having a stomach bug. And so, no, I have to force him to stay at home. Ask the Bench, what's more likely to happen first? Coach's salary reduced or buyouts removed? I don't know if buyouts have to be removed, but buyouts got to get under control. I do not understand how the buyout market is staying alive. Well, I do. It's Sexton, right? Look, if I would bet that buyouts, that none of it's really going to go down, though, right? I don't know if I can take those bets on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, though, but that's probably the only thing that I can't bet on, as you can bet any sort of futures you want, same game parlays, multi-game parlays, props within the game. It's just incredible how much fun you can have DraftKings, all the sports. And look, right now for the holidays, if you want some NBA actions, DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering big time. Yeah, if you're a new customer signing up for the first time, unwrap a little gift on DraftKings. Okay, use the promo code Baton Rouge when you sign up. You get $150. Oh, and then you bet $5 on basketball. You get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Okay, so upgrade your bet slip this NBA season in DraftKings' new and improved same game parlay anywhere feature. This is for all customers. Now you can build those same game parlays anywhere without any additional steps needed. Remember, everything's safe, reliable, 24/7 customer support. You get your money in and out instantly. DraftKings Sportsbook app, the crown is yours. 21 or older, physically present in Louisiana. Select pairs only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms of sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball. Terms licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-25. Excuse me. 1-800-426-2537.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
His name was King. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. One day they found him.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. For years, you've heard me tell you about Insurance Network of Louisiana, helping you find better coverage for less money. But it's not just for your home and auto. They also offer commercial property. So, retail stores, professional offices like doctors, dentists, attorneys, clothing boutiques. Insurance Network of Louisiana can find you better coverage for less money. They service the entire state of Louisiana, and they're local. So call today at 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.